We will get back to that shortly, but we have a tornado warning we want to get to, okay?
We do indeed, and we told you we would let you know as soon as we hear about it, so we are breaking in there to tell you about a tornado warning which is currently in effect for Chester County. If you were with us just a moment ago, you saw that tornado warning just south of Chester County. We mentioned that it would be very likely, as that storm is pushing into Chester County, that we would see that tornado. Let's take a look at the cell that's moving through right now and the areas under a tornado warning. So right now we have a tornado warning for southwestern Chester County. Let's zoom in on it. We'll query this for you and tell you exactly what's going on here right now, which spots are in this tornado warning. If you're in the city of Atglen, East Fallowfield, East Nottingham, Highland, this is a tornado warning. That means a tornado is very likely happening as we speak, just now pushing over the border from Maryland into Chester County. This was issued at 4:45, so just a moment, or it goes until 4:45. It was issued just a moment ago. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at that cell that's moving in. This has been a very strong cell that has been impacting portions of Maryland. It has had tornado warnings along with it as it's been traveling through. And you can see right now where we see that darker purple shading, that's the indication of the storm moving in at this moment. Right now, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located right over Glen Roy, about 14 miles northwest of Elkton, Maryland, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Trying to pull up here some velocity just to show you what we're looking at. It's not very visible right now, just out of that radar zone, as you can see, but just on the very edge of that, where you see the delineation between the red and the green there, an indication of where this particular cell is. So again, it was 14 miles northwest of Elkton, Maryland. This is moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Locations impacted include the city of Coatesville, Oxford, Parksburg, Holmville, Glenroy, Mount Vernon, Cochranville, Ackland, South Coatesville, and Modena. And let's track this for you and can see where the actual cell is. Again, moving to the north and east. So if you are in some of these areas, you have to really, really seek shelter immediately. This is a tornado warning. You want to be in an interior room or basement if you're in that warned zone. We're going to pull up the warning for you once again so you can see, if you're just joining us, exactly where this tornado warning is. By the way, the darker red you see around it, flash flood warnings, and a new one has just been issued for portions of Montgomery, Bucks counties, and the Lehigh Valley. There is an immense amount of flash flooding occurring. Water rescues being reported in Pottstown right now. But the most dangerous situation we have currently is a tornado warning, which is in effect, as you can see right there, mainly for southwestern Chester County, and it's in effect until 4:45 this afternoon. Tornado warning means a tornado may be on the ground. This, at this point, is a Doppler indicated rotation. We do not have word that a spotter has actually seen this tornado, but as we've been watching all day, these storms are moving rotation with them. We've seen a number of tornado warnings, and I'm going to bring in meteorologist Lauren Casey as well. We did actually have a confirmed spotted tornado with this same band coming through when it went through Maryland.
Yeah, just east of Baltimore, Kate, we had an observed tornado, and even as the remnants of Ida progressed across the country through the Tennessee Valley, up into the southeast, mid-Atlantic, and now in our neck of the woods, producing tornado watches and also producing confirmed tornadoes and multiple tornado warnings. And now we're seeing this. We knew this was coming. We had the tornado watch issued. We've been watching this for a number of days now. The atmospheric parameters are just so robust for the possible development of tornadic activity, and now we're starting to see that come to fruition. We have the wind shear in place, and also we have instability, and that instability seems to be mainly confined right around to our southwestern PA suburbs, portions of South Jersey, and into portions of Delaware that have that most elevated tornadic risk. And now we do have this tornado warning in effect for southwestern Chester County until 4:45 p.m., Kate. So if you are in this area, you want to seek shelter immediately. Go to the lowest level of your home, away from windows. As this progresses, we need to take this very seriously, especially this summer, Kate.
That's right, Lauren. We've seen over and over, I've heard people say, oh, it's a tornado warning, but it's probably not in our area. If it's a tornado warning for your area, as we've seen this summer, with an almost now record number of tornado warnings issued by our local National Weather Service office, we've seen the damage that these storms can do. If you are in this zone, if you're in this southwestern corner of Chester County, you need to be away from windows, as low to the ground as possible. If you don't have a basement, an interior room like a powder room, like a closet, always helpful. You can bring your devices in with you, our CBS Philly weather app. You can watch our coverage on that channel as well. And we are continuing to track the threat for tornadoes with the remnants of Ida moving through. And that's not to downplay the seriousness of what's going on around this tornado warning where you see all this red. Of course, these are all flash flood warnings. We've already had reports of water rescues, flooding occurring, streets being closed, and that is just as dangerous as well. As we know, water is actually the most deadly aspect of any sort of tropical system, but a tornado can produce winds that can cause damage, can blow off roofs, can blow out windows, can lead to fatalities, can lead to mass destruction. So that's what we're most concerned about right now. The most emergent situation is this cell right here near Upper Oxford, but there's that water rescue, Pottstown, multiple water rescues in progress as of 4 p.m. And this is just the first wave of heavy rain. We're going to be dealing with this for the next several hours into the overnight. A few more cells to watch back to the west. We've got this one off to the north, and we'll shift that up for you and take a closer look at in just a moment. But we are still watching these cells further to the south, which have exhibited some tornado warnings in the past and may continue to do so as we go through the next couple of hours. So again, you can see just a few spots to watch as these storms move into our region. That's our velocity signature that we're looking at. So let's take a look. I'm going to send it back over to Lauren so she can kind of manipulate the radar for me a little bit better. And Lauren, what are you seeing now on the radar as this cell moves into Chester County?
Thanks, Kate. Yeah, we're definitely seeing, I'm looking at, my personal device, looking at the radar imagery, and we'll try to get that pulled up for you here on Storm Scan 3 to show you what's going on. But there's certainly a velocity couplet, which is what we would call in the world of meteorology, that we're having winds going two different directions, which is indicative of rotation in the atmosphere. So we definitely have rotation in the atmosphere. That's not the question. The question is that rotation producing a funnel, and is that funnel reaching the ground? That is a major concern. So tornado warning in progress for southwestern Chester County until 4:45 right now. See, Kate pulled it up on radar there. So the rotation couplet right now is generally in the just to the west of the New London region, and it is moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So again, we have that rotation. It is radar indicated, and it is not observed, but in these cases, it shouldn't be observed because you shouldn't be going out to look for it. And additionally, the tornado with all of this rain will be rain wrapped. So we're likely not going to get confirmation that a tornado is on the ground, but we have to assume such, especially given the fact that we've had so much tornadic activity this summer. This is now our fourth system, the remnants of a tropical system that we've dealt with in the Delaware Valley, and each of those did produce tornadic activity, from Fred to Elsa to Henri, and now we're dealing with Ida as well. So we need to take this threat very seriously. We have seen stronger confirmed tornadoes, particularly with Henri, across portions of the area. Winds can reach in excess of 100 miles per hour. That can do damage to your siding, to your windows, to your roof, to cars, to trees. And that is a major concern, Kate, when we're talking about tornadic activity. It's not necessarily the wind itself, but it's the flying debris that is induced by that wind. It's falling trees. It's falling trees onto vehicles and into homes, and that's what we need to be concerned with. That's why you need to go to the lowest level of your home and stay away from windows.
Right, and you don't always have, with a tornadic cell like this, you don't always have the straight line winds that we sometimes see with the squall line. Not everyone in the area is going to get severe wind damage. It's just that spot under the tornado where there's that rotation. It can do immense amounts of damage, and as we've seen this summer, in almost a pretty concentrated location. You could have a few homes damaged, and down the road, you know, people fare okay, but you just have to plan for it. If there's a tornado warning for your area, you don't want to be looking out the window. You don't want to be trying to take a video of it. You don't want to be trying to spot it, especially in a situation like this where the rain is coming down so heavily that any tornado we do see is likely to be rain wrapped and not visible either. You may hear a whoosh of wind, and that will be your indication that maybe a tornado is coming through your area. Right now, as we track this cell moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour, that will bring it to New London by 4:30, Elkview by 4:33, Jennersville by about 4:35. So if you're in these areas, again, you should be in shelter. You should be in a basement, away from interior rooms or windows. And as we've seen, as Lauren just said, as we've seen this summer, we know these are nothing to play around with. It's not something you want to wait and see. If you hear it, if you see it coming, you want to be in shelter immediately, because we've seen so much damage so far this summer. And now we're seeing yet another round of these tornadic storms with the tropical system.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm looking at the rotation on my personal device here and trying to pinpoint exactly where we're seeing that rotation. Yeah. Again, as Kate just mentioned, the damage very localized. Not everyone across the county is going to see the damage, but if you do have a tornado that impacts your neighborhood, the damage can be major. And that's why we want to take protective action immediately in these sorts of situations, because you just do not want to take the risk with your safety, with the safety of your family. So it does indicate that we still do have some rotation. It is moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. Upwind would be at Glen, Parksburg. So if you're in these areas, eventually Coatesville, you need to be seeking safe shelter immediately and moving to the lowest level of your home. As Kate mentioned, we do have the possibility also, if we get down trees, it can down some wires and then you lose power. So be sure your personal devices are charged. You can log on to the internet and hopefully continue with that streaming to get the information that you need of if the threat is ongoing or if the threat has ended.
Absolutely. And we just got an update from the National Weather Service at 4:23. They've continued the tornado warning, and they say the storm was located right over Homeville, which is about 15 miles northwest of Newark. And if you're in the Homeville area, this is, again, moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. Next up would be Coatesville. At Glen, as Lauren just said, Oxford, Parksburg. Homeville is where this actual cell is right now. So we'll see if we can zoom in. The area roads that are impacted, 841, 472, but eventually, as this heads north, it'll roll right over Route 1 and eventually toward the Turnpike as well. So these are areas that are kind of in line for storms to come through. And I do want to mention up toward Callan Township, you see it there to the north of this tornado warning. That is an area that has already reported flash flooding and closures along Route 30, which is, of course, a very well-traveled road this time of day, especially in Chester County. And as we watch this move through, we're going to see another round of not only these heavy rains with flash flooding, but also the risk for a tornado or at least a severe storm moving into that area. We have a report that the mobile weather watcher is with us now. This is in Montgomery County currently. This is near Oaks in Montgomery County on 422. And you can see some of the heaviest rain we've seen all day is falling in that area right now. So there's Norristown, Oaks just off to the north and east here. There's Lower Providence, and you can see where some of the heaviest rain is there. Just slightly to the north from where our weather watcher is up near Skipback, it is just absolutely pouring, and you can see the roads moving incredibly slow there. So notice, if you look at that sky, Lauren, a tornado is not going to be visible.
Absolutely not, yes. We have multiple hazards with the remnants of Ida, but the primary hazards are going to be, as we head throughout this evening, tornadoes and flash flooding. And in Montgomery County, we did see reports of water rescues ongoing, and we don't want to see any more reports of water rescues. So please, if you are in these areas, especially north and west of I-95, where it has all day, it has been pouring. Now we're really going to start to see the soil responding to that rain, or actually not responding to it because it can't absorb it anymore. Right. Because we've been dealing with these excessive rains all summer. The ground is super overly saturated and it can't handle any more water. So we're going to continue to see these problems with flash flooding and flooding of roadways really being exacerbated over the next several hours.
That's right. And that can also lead to trees being down, especially if you have the saturated soil, the tree is kind of loose in its base, and then you get a tornado or a severe storm to come through. That could be bringing down large trees. Also could be falling on homes, leading to massive amounts of power outages. Plus, you have people that may be dealing with flooding concerns, basements flooding and things like that with the flash flood threat. You can see on the velocity right there, it's not a very well-defined couplet on our velocity sweep we have for you, but we can see it that it is still there, and it's moving very quickly toward the Parksburg area, Fallowfield. If you're in these areas, that looks like it's right upwind from where this cell is moving right now, basically right along the border there of Lancaster and Chester counties. Again, if you're in West Fallowfield, if you're in Parksburg, these are the areas where you certainly want to make sure you are in safe shelter right now. It looks like Parksburg and Atglen as well will be kind of next in line, and then eventually Coatesville, which is just on the edge of that tornado warning, again, which is in effect until 4:45 this evening. We do also have another tornado warning I'd like to show you, which is off to the south. It's not in our area just yet, but you can see these cells just over Maryland, near Dorchester County in Maryland and down toward Elliott, Maryland. We've got another line of cells that do have rotation with them and several tornado warnings just poised to move toward Sussex and Kent counties in Delaware. So just giving you an early heads up here right now. If you're in these areas, if you're in western Kent or Sussex counties, very likely that you will be in a tornado warning within probably the next half hour or so. So if you need some time to get to shelter, now's the time to do it. We have some video in from Wayne, Chester County. Let's take a look at this. Heavy rain leading to, it looks like, some ponding and flooding there.
Yeah.
This is from the La Maison apartment complex. Look at the road there, almost completely covered with water. This is along Sugartown Road in Wayne, Chester County. Not a ton of wind, as you can see just yet, and really the biggest wind threat is going to be in any of these severe storms that break out.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not going to be a widespread wind threat, but if we do see these severe storms rolling through, as we're seeing, and we'll likely see the coverage and the intensity increase as we head into the next couple of hours. We're dealing with that damaging wind threat and the tornado threat. Even outside of the tornado threat, we could see damaging straight line winds up to 75 miles per hour. That is hurricane force that will do damage to your home, to your car. So really, if you can scoot home from work a little bit early and you stay home, forget the chores this evening, don't run to the grocery store.
Absolutely.
Do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be gorgeous. And so is the next several days. So we just have to get through the next several hours or until 10 p.m. when that watch will expire, and then we're in the clear.
And yes, certainly, at least as far as tornadoes. But again, there are multiple hazards with this system. We have the flash flooding, which is happening now, the tornado threat, which is happening now. But even tomorrow, if you live along any of our waterways, local waterways like the Brandywine Creek, like the Schuylkill River even, there's a flood warning for the Schuylkill River, which won't crest until maybe early tomorrow afternoon. And this is the kind of crest that could put parts of Locust Street underwater. It could come up to the barriers, the railings of the Schuylkill River Trail. So if you're in an area that's prone to stream, creek, river flooding, these impacts may continue even into the day tomorrow. But the threat for tornadoes, again, by 10 o'clock tonight, we should be seeing that calm down, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Still have that one tornado warning. And again, you can see it there on your screen where the worst of it is right now. The National Weather Service, of course, is monitoring this storm as it moves over Chester County and kind of shrinking that warning box as the storm goes through. So it is a smaller area right now, including West Fallowfield, including Parksburg, including Coatesville. And you can see the storm is looking slightly more disorganized. There is still some rotation visible with it. There is still the potential that a tornado may be occurring or may be on the ground, though we don't have any reports of a tornado being sighted with this. They have continued the tornado warning as of 4:31. The storm was near Cochranville, 14 miles southeast of New Holland, and it's now moving north at 40 miles per hour. So let's see if we can track this.
Yeah, it looks like the rotation is coming right up upon Parksburg right now. So if you're in Parksburg, even Coatesville, Gap, you need to be in your safe shelter at this time. As a cell approaches, we have to treat it as though a tornado is on the ground. So you want to be taking those safety precautions right now. And the problem is we get these supercell thunderstorms. So it's a rotating thunderstorm, and they can be long-lived. So they'll continually rotate as they move along their lifespan, and they can drop a funnel or drop a tornado, pick it back up, drop it back down. So this might not be the last we see of this particular cell. We might expire this warning and then have another warning pop up later along its lifetime.
And that's kind of what we've seen with this cell. We had a number of tornado warnings this same storm over Maryland, now shifting, as you can see, into Chester County. And Lauren just mentioned Parksburg. That is the area that is impacted right now or within the next several minutes. If you are in Parksburg, you should be in your safe space. You should be in a basement, in an interior room, away from windows. If you're in Pomeroy Heights, 4:40 p.m., this storm will be right over you. West Callan by about 4:44, Martin's Corner by 4:47, Honeybrook at 4:52, and Barneston at 4:55. Now we'll see if that rotation holds together for this warning to be extended. as the storm continues its movement 40 miles an hour to the north and east. You can see just how much we have going on, just a quick wide zoom of what's happening across the region right now. And the rain is falling at an incredible rate here from Scranton all the way down to Dover, Delaware. But we do have one embedded severe storm with a tornado warning. It's what you see right here. And again, it's not really showing up as a very clearly defined supercell because it is embedded within this area of incredibly heavy rainfall. So you're not really seeing that clear delineation of where the cell is. But right now it's just near Parksburg, moving to the north and east, right over Acklen as well. That's where we're seeing some of that, the worst of that rotation. These are the areas that need to be, again, incredibly concerned about a potential tornado touchdown within the next few minutes.
Absolutely, yeah. Parksburg, Christiana, Gap, Coatesville, you all need to be in your safe space, and the cell will continue to move off to the north or northeast at about 40 miles per hour. And then, as Kate mentioned, we have those cells down in Delaware that look very nasty on radar.
Yes.
They are already producing strong, intense winds and eventually could develop some rotation within them as well. We do have warnings in effect, tornado warnings in effect, just west of southern Delaware. So we'll have to keep a close eye on those cells as well. So if you're in southern or central Delaware, this line, you can almost see it's trying to form what we call a quasi-linear convective system. It's trying to organize itself. And that's bad news, because the more organized it is, the more potent, powerful it is, the more capable it's going to be to produce tornadoes.
Right, and we're seeing it right now. You can see right there in Dorchester County, Maryland, until 5 o'clock, a tornado warning. But there's nothing preventing that cell from continuing right on over Delaware as we get toward after the 5 o'clock hour. So if you're in Seaford, Delaware, even if you're in Milford, if you're in Dover, you should be making precautions right now. If you are, you should be where you need to be, basically. If you know someone that may be on the roads over the next half hour or so, give them a call, either tell them to stay put, or if they can get to where they need to be in the next 10, 15 minutes and then stay put, that would be the safest play here. Let's go and take one more look at that. I want to see if we can pull up kind of a cross section and see where the worst of this storm is. Here's the area that we're focusing on here: Fallowfield, Acklen, Parksburg, West Callan. Let's see if we can take a little bit of a cross-section box and just see how impactful this storm is. It's kind of building well up into the atmosphere, building at about 20,000 feet right now. This is a large supercell thunderstorm centered over this region. It looks like on the eastern side is probably the worst of it there as it moves toward Callan Township. Again, if you're in this area, let's pull up that warning zone one more time and show you exactly what we're looking at. We'll start with, I just want to start with a quick look at what's happening flash flooding wise, because as we know, flash flooding, especially as we get toward rush hour, 4:38 p.m., people are going to be out on the roads. People are going to be coming home from work. Flash flooding is happening. Water rescues have been so common this summer. People have been trying to drive through flooded roads, trying to get out there. You don't ever want to drive through a flooded road, even if you think you can make it, even if you're in a giant SUV. If you can't see the bottom of the road, if the road is covered in water, just turn around and go back, because you're not only putting yourself at risk, you're putting the first responders that have to come and save you. When you do get stuck in the water, you're putting them at risk as well.
Yeah, pull up Google Maps, find another way.
Find a way.
Apple Maps, whatever your map choice is, you want to pull that and
whatever it is,
and find a different path to get where you're going, because as Kate was saying, you just don't understand what the water or what the road conditions are underneath that water. Has the road been compromised? Has it fallen out? How deep is that water? There is no way for you to know. So it's just not worth the risk of driving into flooded waters. You're putting yourself at risk, and also you're putting your car at risk as well. That makes for a very bad day if you stall out your car, ruin your car, need to take it to the shop. So please just do not do it.
It's just not worth it. It's never worth it. Here's our live mobile weather watcher shot. I believe this is still along 422 in Montgomery County. This area not under a tornado warning, what you're seeing here in the footage, but we are under a flash flood warning right now. And you can see people, looks like they may be trying to get home, hopefully maybe left work a little early in anticipation that some roads may be flooded, roads may be closed, and may not be able to get home later on tonight with the massive amounts of flooding that we're experiencing here across our north and west suburbs. And again, the ground is just so saturated in the wake of this is our fourth tropical system remnant, and not only our fourth heavy rain event. We've had, even just this past Sunday, we had several inches of rain fall across the area. The ground cannot take anymore. And unfortunately, more is exactly what we're getting. In some spots, already over 3 inches of rain have fallen. We also have the severe threat, a tornado warning, once again, currently in effect until 4:45. So for the next 5 minutes or so, we're still under that tornado warning. It's moving north of Cochranville, headed toward Parksburg. It's that very small area there in western Chester County. We'll zoom in on some spots again. Highland, Parksburg, Coatesville right now, West Callan. These are the areas that are under the greatest risk of this potential severe thunderstorm. But this is just one of myriad risks and hazards that the remnants of Ida are producing in our region tonight. And this flooding event, it's just getting started. This rain is going to last for hours, and there's some indications that this could be a 100-year flood in some spots, and we've already had a 100-year flood, which is a little bit of a misleading term anyway, but it basically means you don't expect to see this kind of a flood except maybe once in every 100 years for any given location. So we could be looking at 6, 7, 8 inches of rain in some spots before this is done.
Yeah, just exceptional rainfall totals and in York and Adams County in South Central PA, so west of here, but just showing you the situation because they're dealing with the remnants of Ida. They're dealing with this rain as well. A flash flood emergency is now in effect. A flash flood emergency, life-threatening flash flooding going on right now in Adams and York County to the west, just to the west of our area. So it's a big concern for us as well because we're going to be seeing the same rainfall intensity and the same rainfall amounts, especially west of I-95 and in our PA suburbs over the next several hours. It's been raining all day in these areas, and the rain is just going to continue, and then it's going to overspread I-95, come back into Center City and South Jersey as we head into the second half of the evening.
Right, that rain that they've seen, you can see the back edge of that kind of pushing through the York and Adams County, but that's what's moving over our areas right now and will be for the next several hours. We have a live photo here from Plymouth Meeting. I believe this is our neighborhood network cam at the top of the Place One Apartments, and you wouldn't know it's Plymouth Meeting because it is raining so heavily, such torrential rain there. It is almost complete blackout conditions. That is what you'll be driving in if you try to go out tonight in this. And in addition to that, you could have an embedded thunderstorm with a tornado wrapped within rain like that, like we're seeing in Chester County tonight. You're not going to see it coming until it's on you. So this is just us saying to you, please do not go out. If at all possible, stay put. Even if you're stuck at work, you may want to stay at work, call someone, tell them to stay put until the worst of it. There may be a little bit of a lull in some spots that maybe you can get back out on the roads. But right now, this looks like it's going to be underway through at least about midnight, the heaviest rainfall.
Absolutely. Yeah, the situation there, that's a great point. The visibility is going to be so reduced as you're taking to the roads. It's very dangerous, difficult conditions on the roads, hazardous conditions, in fact, as we head throughout the next several hours with this flash flooding threat and also with the tornado threat as well, and the threat for severe weather and damaging winds.
And there's that tornado warning. Once again, this is still in effect until 4:45. It has not been extended further to the north and east, which is a good thing at this point, because oftentimes if the National Weather Service sees that this is moving out of its warning zone, they will issue a new warning or extend the warning. This one in effect until 4:45. It looks as though it is going to be allowed to expire as of 4:45. We now have a new flash flood warning for Chester, Delaware, and Montgomery counties until 8:45 tonight. Reports that we just got a report, a non-confirmed preliminary spotter report of flash flooding along Old Wilmington Road in Coatesville, which is in the same general area of this tornado warning. That water is flowing in a stream down the road 3 inches deep or deeper. Again, this is in the Coatesville area. And this is just east of where Lauren just told us about the flash flood emergency near York and Adams County. Now we're dealing with not only a tornado warning still in effect for western Chester County, but also reports that we've got 3 inches of water rushing down a road in Coatesville. Here's a live picture in Lower Macungie Township. This is Lehigh County. This is, of course, the Lehigh Valley, north and west of the city, an area where it's been raining at least on and off for most of the day. You can see the roads seem to be doing okay, at least the main roads. But as you head towards any roads that are adjacent to a waterway, anything adjacent to even the Lehigh River, but any smaller creeks and streams in this area, I do believe at least, if not already, at least through tonight, we'll have to watch out for some road closures and flooded roads in that area as well.
Absolutely, yeah. The risk is going to be ongoing. The threat is going to be ongoing throughout the evening hours with the flash flooding and the tornado threat. Tornado threat going to come to a close at 10 p.m. Then we'll likely see the rain wrapping up largely by about 1 a.m. Should be clearing on out of here. But as Kate mentioned a few minutes ago, that threat for river flooding, stream flooding is going to continue into tomorrow, as many of these waterways won't crest until tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon.
Right, and as a general rule of thumb, the larger the waterway, the longer it's going to take to crest. So those smaller creeks and streams, you may see them cresting tonight, overnight, but the Schuylkill River, for example, probably won't reach its highest point until tomorrow, maybe early afternoon. So the sun may be out at that point around noon tomorrow. People might say, hey, let's head out to the Schuylkill River Trail. At that point, it could be completely inundated with flooding. So you just have to check those flood warnings, check the road closures, check your maps and see what's going on before you try to venture out, even once the worst of the storm is gone. And here's a look at rain totals so far. I just want to take a quick look at this. We're seeing rain totals so far right there. Look at those pink and red shaded areas over Chester County. That's where the worst has fallen. Between 3 and 5 inches of rain has already fallen in that area. Now, the good news is our tornado warning has been allowed to expire. The not as good news is we do still have tornado warnings just southwest of Delaware. And these storms are looking fierce. I'll show you them very, very quickly, because these are the areas we're going to be watching these storms about to push into Sussex and Kent counties. We are going to send it over to Yuki and Jessica now for more on today's news. We will regroup and take a closer look at the storms moving into Delaware as they move through. But this is just the very beginning of what's going to be a very long night in the Weather Center, Lauren.
That is for sure. Tornado and flash flood warnings. Kate and Lauren, thank you so much.
So let's take you down to Delaware. This is the complex that we're watching. And thanks, Lauren. We're going to get some information on this tornado right now. This is for west central Sussex County and portions of Kent County, the extreme southwestern corner of Kent County right now. And according to the National Weather Service, this storm was located over Hurlock, Maryland, moving east at 40 miles per hour. So there's Hurlock right there. This storm moving east at about 40 miles per hour. So it is tracking pretty quickly into Delaware. This will likely be moving into spots like Denton, Federalsburg, Bridgeville, Preston, Harmony, Smithville, and Greenwood. This is radar indicated rotation, but this warning right now goes until 5:45. And it looks like, I don't know, Lauren, if you could move up on this radar. Do we have another one that just was issued further north of there as well? Looks like yet another tornado warning now for portions of northern Kent and southern Newcastle counties. This cell you see right here near Maridale, Templeville, moving to the north and east as well. This one until 5:45. And again, this is the same band we've been watching move through Delaware, with a very clear indication that this was going to shift next into the first state, and now 2 active tornado warnings for Delaware. So here's the spot we're looking at: Smyrna, Kenton, Maridale, all in this area of a tornado warning. And this is moving to the north, likely probably the same speed. We'll wait to get the stats on that one. Likely the same speed as the last one, about 40 miles per hour. So if you're in any of these areas, if you're near Route 44, Route 11 here, Cheswold, Clayton, Hartley, Kenton, any of these spots, until 5:45 tonight, you need to be in a basement, in an interior room, in a closet, a powder room, away from windows. This is an active tornado warning, and you can see a very clear, look at that hook echo there on the bottom edge of this. This is a very textbook looking cell that has popped up. It's not embedded within the heavy rain. This is on the southern edge of this. You can see that hook, possible inflow notch right here as the storm takes shape. Hartley probably right in the middle of it right now. Look at that. Just right along the intersection there of routes 11 and 44 there in Kent County, Delaware. Very clear rotation signature as this cell pushes north and east. And this is in addition to another tornado warning further to the south, which is over portions of Kent and Sussex counties. Basically all in the same line. Lauren was telling us earlier that these were going to form into what we call a QLCS, basically a quasi-linear convective structure, storms that like to strengthen within that line. And you often see a line of supercell thunderstorms developing in a cluster, moving basically at the same speed, the same velocity, the same direction, and you can have multiple tornadoes embedded within that line. So right now, 1 two. Here's one 5:45. They're both in effect until 5:45. This one for portions of Caroline County, Kent County, and Newcastle County. A second tornado warning until 5:45 for portions of Kent and Sussex counties. And again, there's nothing stopping these. The Delaware Bay is not really going to slow these down. These may move right into South Jersey as well. So again, if you have not been with us until now, 2 tornado warnings active in Delaware right now, and these cells moving towards South Jersey within the next hour or two. This is the spot in our region that has the greatest risk for severe weather, south of Philadelphia. The greatest risk for flooding, northwest of Philadelphia. Both of those are happening right now as we speak. Take a look at that flooding right now. Look at that rainfall, intense rainfall with lots and lots of lightning. Shifting through Delaware County, eastern Chester County, and headed toward the city of Philadelphia. We're just now in the city starting to get into some of our heaviest rain of the day. Flash flood warning in effect for Chester, Delaware, Montgomery counties in Pennsylvania, as well as Bucks County, as well as the Lehigh Valley. The entire region is under a flash flood warning right now. So we could be talking about homes with water in the basement, possibly even first floor inundation along some of our major waterways like the Schuylkill River, some of our smaller waterways as well. Roads closed, roads completely flooded out. Water rescues, do not go out unless you have to tonight. And then, of course, the severe threat further to the south. That's where we had, if you were with us earlier, we talked about CAPE, or convective available potential energy. Storms like to go where they're going to have the most fuel. And where the most fuel is, areas that have not seen quite as much rain today, that actually did see a little bit of sun trying to peek out. There's a boundary right there as a warm front lifts to the north, and kind of a wind boundary, and that's where these storms are forming as we speak. So here's a live look from our mobile weather watcher, and you can see still the remnants of Ida there on the left of your screen. The mobile weather watcher traveling through some of this heavy rain right now. You can see the roads starting to exhibit some ponding. We'll let you know as soon as we know exactly where this location is, but it looks like things are very slow out on the roads and only going to get worse as the evening goes on. So this is a look at Pottstown. Now, we have had reports of several water rescues already underway and several road closures in Pottstown so far this afternoon. It looks like, at least along these main roads where we're looking at right now, traffic is moving. But just a reminder, and we'll say this over and over again because it cannot be said enough, if you come up on a roadway and it's covered in water, I don't care what you're driving. I don't care if it's a giant truck, a Jeep, an SUV. Do not try to drive through it. Even if the guy before you made it, do not try to drive through it. Pull up a different route on your phone, find a way around it, because you don't know what's going on underneath the surface of that water. Those currents, it only takes about a foot of water to lift a car, a foot and a half to lift an SUV or truck, and it can happen very, very quickly. You do not want to be caught out in that. In addition, if you are in this area right here, this is for portions of Kent and Newcastle counties in Delaware, including the Smyrna area, including Kenton, including Hartley. As this cell moves north and eastward, you should be in a safe space, in a basement, in a powder room, in a closet if you have to, if you're above ground, if you're in an apartment building. Get to the most interior room you can get to. We did see, I'm going to toss it over to Lauren in a moment because she has a few more details on what we saw in Chester County. Lauren, we actually did see some roofs and siding ripped off in Chester County from the first tornado warning, correct?
Yeah, Kate, there are pictures on social media of some siding ripped off, a huge tree uprooted as that possible, and now National Weather Service is even indicating probable tornado coming through. There was a damage report of trees and power poles snapped and roof damage along Slate Hill Drive in East Nottingham Township. Probable tornado in the Oxford area in Chester County. That was a tornado warned storm. And now the National Weather Service in Mount Holly saying they had multiple reports of damage near Oxford. It's possibly due to a tornado, but of course the National Weather Service survey team will have to go out tomorrow once the weather is quiet and calm and assess that damage. We don't know if it's a tornado or the rating of that tornado until meteorologists are out there, able to get out there and on the scene and assess the type and severity of damage from that probable tornado now in Chester County with that tornado warned cell. And we still do have tornado warnings in progress, and we'll likely see this continue over the next several hours. 2 tornado warnings in progress right now for portions of Delaware, and just pouring rains across portions of PA, now overspreading into South Jersey as well. So we'll likely start to see some heavy rain now coming down in our nearby Jersey suburbs close to Philadelphia. That is commencing for you. So if you have plans to hit the road, want to stay home, don't drive if you don't absolutely have to. But again, the primary concern right now is going to be these tornado warnings in progress for portions of central and southern Delaware, and in particular this couplet down to the south, Kate, that's pushing itself into Sussex County, Delaware, has an incredibly robust and tight couplet. I would be shocked if there is not a tornado on the ground with this cell that's positioned right now. It's still in Maryland, but it's moving off to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. So if you're in line in Sussex County and even southern portions of Kent County, Delaware, you need to be seeking safe shelter.
Thanks so much, Lauren. And let's take a, before we go back and look at the velocity on that storm, our mobile weather watcher seems to have found the flooding that is taking place here in Pottstown. You can see roads are closed there. We did have reports of water rescues. It looks like under that overpass, under that bridge there, a car may have stalled out due to floodwaters or possibly just pulled off the road. But it does look like a car is stopped in floodwaters with road closures in Pottstown, Montgomery County. Again, just one of the multiple hazards currently happening across our region right now with the remnants of Ida. And now here's the cell. Here are the two tornado warnings we're watching. They both go until 5:45. One with the cell moving just over the border from Kent County into Newcastle County, Delaware. But this cell right here, and this is what Lauren was just telling us about, when we talk about a couplet, what we're looking at is on a velocity layer of our radar. You can see where the wind is blowing toward the radar site and where the wind is blowing away from the radar site. In a normal situation, all the wind should be blowing in the same direction. When you get winds going in opposite directions, you can just imagine the winds building up through the atmosphere, going in different directions. That's where we look for rotation. And when we see winds going in opposite directions toward or away from a radar site, that is when we look for the possibility that a tornado is on the ground. And right now, this cell right here over portions of eastern Maryland, just poised to push into southern Kent and northern Sussex counties in Delaware, is exhibiting a very, very strong rotation signature. This cell further to the north, you can see they've scaled back the tornado warning just a little bit. It's now no longer in effect for Maryland. That cell has pushed into portions of Delaware, just in northern Kent County and right up into Newcastle County. Both of these warnings, again, in effect until 5:45 this evening. So again, as we go through the next several hours, just a quick look at future weather. The storms that we're seeing now in Delaware, here's where they're headed next. By 6 or 7 o'clock, still going to be over southern Delaware into South Jersey and then pushing toward the shore points, possibly with embedded tornadoes, and that threat could go until around 10 o'clock tonight before the back edge of this rain finally starts to move through and the remnants of Ida move off the coast. So let's see if we can go back to some of our tornado warnings. Again, we'll take you down into southern Delaware. Lauren's going to move the radar for us, and I wonder if we can take a look at the velocity. If these spots are kind of on the edge of our radar sweep, so it's tough to see the couplets on our particular sweeping radar here, but we'll show you the cells that we're watching. This one here south of Smyrna and this one here near Federalsburg, very, very strong rotation signature. You can see this one, and this is a classic shape. You can see that hook shape. That's what we look for. We call it a bow echo, that hook echo shape. Right here could be, again, where you see the inflow notch. That's where the wind blows into the storm and starts to rotate as the storm builds in the atmosphere. So if you know anyone, or if you're near Federalsburg, Maryland, this is a very, very dangerous storm with a potential tornado moving into the region. And this entire supercell, this entire thing, starting to shift just across the border into Delaware. This is a very dangerous supercell thunderstorm, likely with a tornado, and you can see some training possible. There's another one coming right in behind it. So as the first one rolls through, a second supercell thunderstorm will roll through right behind it. This is moving to the north and east at roughly 40 miles per hour. So that would put it in the Delaware area in Smithville by about 5:24, Adams Crossroads by 5:27, Blanchard by 5:32, and Greenwood by 5:35. You may not be able to see that, but that's where it's headed next. So if you're in Delaware, these are the areas that are next in line for this very dangerous supercell thunderstorm, possibly containing a tornado. We also, of course, have another tornado warning in portions of northern Kent County, just north of Dover, right around Smyrna right now, shifting into portions of southern Newcastle County. And you can see the heavy downpours with this as well. Anything that comes through will likely be rain wrapped. It's producing intense rain, the threat for flash flooding, strong straight line winds, and a potential tornado. Right now, if you're in the city of Smyrna, Delaware, you should be in a safe space, basement, closet, powder room, away from windows until this threat passes. And again, this warning, unless it expires early, goes until 5:45 tonight. There is a concern that the next line of storms that's over Kent County and over Sussex County may continue to move north and east along this same track. So if you're in the middle here, if you're in Riverview, Dover, areas that have not been hit by these storms, these are moving to the north and northeast at about 40 miles per hour, and they will be in your area shortly. So again, 2 tornado warnings currently in effect. And it looks to me, Lauren, you can confirm this as well, it looks like 2 separate storms, one here and a second one to the north, and they are pretty much back to back, training right over one another. So you could be looking at some spots possibly getting hit by 2 tornadic supercells in a row within a half an hour of each other. Lauren, is that what you're seeing as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, that's what it looks like is transpiring. I mean, Kate, you were talking about that classic look on radar. We use the radar. Radar tells us mainly about the precipitation coming down. So all these color blobs you're seeing, that's going to be the rainfall and the intensity of the rainfall. But when we shift it over into a velocity mode, we can get an indication of the winds. But even in our precipitation mode, we can see how the different shapes materializing with the Doppler radar signature, and that can be indicative of what's going on within the cell. So when we're seeing this classic supercell, which is honestly just kind of crazy that we're seeing a classic supercell structure in the Delaware Valley. Typically that's something that is specific to the Midwest or the Central Plains. So it's just a revelation of how strong, intense, and dangerous these cells are. They mean business. This is a supercell thunderstorm with very potent and defined rotation right now, particularly for that tornado warning in Sussex County, Delaware. And now
we have a tornado warning for the city. Is that for Philadelphia?
It must be.
Yes, we are now under a tornado warning in the city of Philadelphia, Delaware County, portions of Montgomery County. This includes the main line. This includes portions of Delaware County right along 476, the blue route right now. You can hear our phones going off because this tornado warning is happening where we are currently situated here at the CBS3 studios. This is a cell that's right now moving through Marple. It's moving to the northeast. You can see it right there. This includes Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties. It includes Lower Merion. It includes Drexel Hill. It includes cities like Manioc or spots like Manioc and Roxborough within the city, West Philly as well. And this warning goes until 5:45. Very rare situation that we have a tornado warning in the city of Philadelphia, and that is currently what we have. Let's see if we can pull up the velocity for that and show you where this potential tornadic storm is.
Just incredible, Kate. I mean, it's moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. That's pretty fast forward motion. So if your phone was just going off, if you're in this tornado warning right now, you need to be seeking safe shelter. Go to the lowest level of your home, away from windows. Right now, the warning is in effect for southeastern Montgomery County, Philadelphia County. Looks like the entirety of Philadelphia County is in this tornado warning until 5:45. There is rotation on radar. That rotation could be hitting the ground in the form of a tornado, so we need to take this very seriously. Also, eastern Delaware County in this tornado warning at 5:15, so 2 minutes ago, there was a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Fulcroft, 10 miles west of Gloucester City, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. Please seek safe shelter if you are in this tornado warning. We've already seen tornadic activity with the remnants of Ida as it traversed the southern half of the country and now the eastern half of the country as it moves through. Very capable of producing tornadoes. That's why we were under this tornado watch. The conditions of the atmosphere today don't really get more heightened for tornado potential in the Delaware and Lehigh Valleys, Kate.
That's right, Lauren. And this is right along that same boundary we were talking about earlier, where our most convective available potential energy was, right from the city on into Delaware, and the storms are forming right along that same boundary. You can see in Philadelphia right now, we're just seeing clouds, an area of light rain moving through the city, but this is off to the west of Philadelphia. If you're in the city right now, you have a little bit of time to get to safe shelter. I can tell you, I just texted my family and said, should get to the basement now. If you have family, if you have friends in this area around the city of Philadelphia, Delaware County, portions of Montgomery County, a very, very active area this time of night, with travelers on the Blue Route coming home from work, travelers on the Schuylkill Expressway. We know that traffic does not move very quickly, and you could have stopped traffic, people right there, as this potential tornado moves through. I can't stress enough how dangerous this situation is. If you know anyone that may not be watching us right now, they may have gotten the alert on their phone, but if they're planning to drive through this area, please send them a text, please give them a phone call and tell them, do not get on the roads right now. It's a very dangerous developing situation right near the city of Philadelphia, with a tornado warning in effect for Philadelphia, Montgomery, and Delaware counties. We're looking live from our camera in Spring Garden here at the CBS Broadcast Center. And of course, if this cell does move right into our area, we will seek shelter as well, because we are up high in our studio. You may be up high as well. Lots of people high-rise living in the city, may be in an apartment, may not have a basement, may not have a powder room. You want to try to get as far away from windows as you can get if you are in Philadelphia right now, or if you're along the main line, if you're along the Schuylkill Expressway, if you are in Delaware County as well. If we can go back to the radar, we'll take a closer look at exactly where this cell is right now. I say potential, but it's not potential anymore. This is an active tornado warning, and you heard all of our phones going off. At first, I thought it was possibly a flash flood warning, because we get alerts for that as well, but this is a tornado warning. Flash flood warning is very dangerous, but not quite as dangerous if you're sitting in your home as a tornado warning is. So right now, an active tornado warning. You can see the red box. It's hard to see when the rain moves over it, because there's so much rain, it almost just obscures anything you could see on the ground. But it's this area right around Marple, moving quickly over the Blue Route right now, headed up toward the main line. So if you're in Radnor, if you're in Bala-Cynwyd, if you're in Bryn Mawr, if you're in Ardmore, right along Route 30, then of course the Schuylkill Expressway, north of there, up toward possibly Bluebell, Plymouth Meeting, spots like that, and back to the east. This is moving to the north and east, so this is going to be shifting into West Philly. This is going to be shifting into spots like right along City Avenue, Havertown, right around Penwyn. Again, anyone in these areas needs to seek shelter immediately. A tornado warning currently in effect until 5:45. Now, we showed you down across Delaware with the warnings, which, by the way, are still in effect in Delaware. You can see a very clearly defined supercell shape, because these are more discrete cells right here, the one up in portions of Kent and Newcastle, and another cell here, right here, moving in to Sussex County right now. You can see that very well-defined hook shape. What we're seeing north of there, with the warning that's in effect for the city and suburbs right now, this is just embedded within this large area of precipitation. So you're not going to see quite as well defined of a shape, although there is a little bit of a hook. You can see they're moving down through Media as the worst of this cell starts to shift up toward Haverford and over the Blue Route right now. You can see the shape of it as it moves east, but it's not quite as well defined because it's embedded within this area of incredibly heavy flooding rain. Flash flood warnings in effect for this entire region as well. So once again, you do not want to be out on the roads. You do not want to have any plans to leave your home tonight. Please stay safe. Get into a basement, get into an interior room, away from windows. Incredibly populated area. I would imagine several 100,000, if not over 1 million people are encompassed within this particular tornado warning right now that is in effect for the city of Philadelphia, Delaware County, and portions of Montgomery County. You can see where it is. If we take the radar off, that does show us a little bit better the areas encompassed within that tornado warning, and are all around it. You can see the brown coloring there. All around that tornado warning, we currently have a severe thunderstorm warning. So even if you're not in the tornado warning, you may be experiencing severe thunderstorm winds. And I believe what we're seeing there, where you see the yellow blobs there, is that a shear track?
That is indeed, yep. So we'll take a look at the first one.
So what that is showing you basically is if there is a tornado on the ground, that's where it has the greatest likelihood that it just rolled through. That's showing shear, basically telling you about where the wind is at its strongest and also where the rotation is at its strongest. So where you see that yellow area just southwest of Radnor there, that is where a potential shear track is being indicated, right around the Tredyffrin Easttown area. Another one just south of 320 or right along 320, just south of Marple in Delaware County, south of the Blue Route. And this is all moving, and you can see another shear track there near Springfield. And these are moving to the north and east. So basically anywhere you see those yellow blobs, imagine them moving to the north and east, and that is the track that this potential tornadic supercell is taking. So right along 476, some of the worst of it, moving through that very busy interchange around King of Prussia, Plymouth Meeting. Further to the east around Lower Merion, right along Lancaster Avenue, Route 30 there, an indication that not only could we be experiencing a potential tornado, but we are certainly experiencing damaging straight line winds with that severe thunderstorm warning, wind gusts in excess of perhaps 70 or 75 miles an hour as this storm moves quickly to the north and east. You can see the worst of it, not yet in Philadelphia, but this is shifting quickly. So within the next 15, 20 minutes, I expect the worst of this will be shifting closer to Philadelphia. And you can see those shear tracks getting even more defined here, an indication that this storm is strengthening as it moves through. This is probably a worst case scenario as far as where would you not want a severe thunderstorm to hit at 5:24 in the afternoon, right along the Schuylkill Expressway, right along the interchange with the Turnpike, right along the interchange with the Northeast Extension, right along the 422, 202 interchange. So many of our most traveled southeastern Pennsylvania roads come together right in this area, and this is an area that is in an active tornado warning as we speak. A potential tornado moving through the Radnor, Villanova, Bryn Mawr areas as we speak, moving into the Wayne area, moving toward Conshohocken, heading over the river and impacting portions of Montgomery County, Plymouth Meeting, Bluebell, spots like that. If you're in these areas, you want to seek shelter immediately. There's Bryn Mawr kind of on the edge of it, Ardmore, Bala-Cynwyd, Belmont Hills. Any of these spots, you are in an active tornado warning right now, and it looks as though this track, this shear track showing where a potential tornado may be occurring, is moving pretty quickly to the north and east. So again, any of those spots along mainly the eastern main line here, once you hit Malvern and spots west, heavy downpours there, but this is mainly east of there. So here's our tornado warning, and it does look to me as though they've issued the tornado warning really kind of on the eastern side of this particular cell. Here's the worst of the cell. Here's the edge of the tornado warning right here. This, I believe, is Lancaster Avenue, Route 30. Here's the Blue Route, and again, this is moving right along that area as we speak to the north and east, still west of Philadelphia, but shifting to the east within the next 45 minutes, or the next 20 minutes at least. This warning is active until 5:45 p.m. And I don't want to discount the fact that we still have 2 active warnings in Delaware for Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex counties, but certainly this one that we've been looking at near Philadelphia is in the most populated area, probably the most populated part of our entire region. So many more people impacted by this tornado warning than further south. But any tornado, no matter where it hits, can be deadly and can be devastating, cause damage and threat to lives and property. So please, if you're in any of these spots, if you know anyone that's in any of these spots that may not be watching, here's what they need to do. Head to a basement, interior room. What you don't want to do is panic. You don't want to look out the window and try to see if the tornado's coming. And you don't want to panic. You want to stay calm. You want to move down to a basement. If you have kids, maybe don't even tell them what's happening. A storm's coming. We're going to go downstairs, bring your iPad, put the headphones on. Everybody stay calm, and we're just going to wait it out. Lowest floor, home, office, however low you can get and however interior you can get, that's the best place to be, because a tornado can produce damage, extensive damage to windows, roofs, vehicles. We saw with our last tornado warning reports of a debris cloud over parts of Bucks County, Montgomery County. There can be flying debris, so that's why you don't want to be by a window. If a tree branch flies into the window, that could cause major injury, major damage to your home as well. If you're in a mobile home, you want to abandon the mobile home if you can and find the nearest substantial shelter. A lot of people say, oh, it seems like tornadoes target mobile home areas. That's not the case. It's just that the mobile homes cannot withstand the wind, cannot withstand the wrath of these tornadoes like a more sustainable, stable structure will. So that's where you want to be, as low to the ground as possible and as far away from windows as possible. And you can see just a little bit of that green and red there. Lauren's pulling that up for us, the velocity right over Lower Merion, where we're seeing the wind rotation. This is our velocity signature right now. And this basically should all be red. And since we're seeing two different colors right up against each other, that shows that there is some rotation happening. We're looking live at a shot of the city right now, and you can see it's looking relatively tranquil right now in Philadelphia. Visibility is poor, but the worst of this is still just off to the west of the city and moving quickly toward the city of Philadelphia. So here's your active warning, pulling that up in our smaller box for you until 5:45 this evening. That does include western Philadelphia, mainly northwest Philly right now in that warning. Center City, I don't know if they scaled it back, because at one point we did get alerts on our phone. It's currently not any longer in effect for Center City, Philadelphia. It is in effect for Northwest Philly, so Manayunk, Roxborough, if you're in Chestnut Hill, spots like that in that active tornado warning. Also, that small corner of Montgomery County where Lower Merion kind of settles into the city of Philadelphia, between Philadelphia County and Delaware County, and portions of northern Delaware County, all in that active tornado warning. You may just have seen the burgundy shading coming up next to it. A new flash flood warning has just been issued as this moves through. And again, you can see that very clear shape of that thunderstorm pushing through portions of Montgomery and Delaware counties right now with an active tornado warning. Two other active tornado warnings also still in effect for our region in Delaware as these storms continue to move south and east. And these show no indication of really letting up, although the one we're looking at right there, Lauren, it does look like the storm that prompted the tornado warning has just kind of shifted out of the warning zone.
Yeah, I think that may have been dropped, or maybe our computer is a little bit slow to update, but that certainly looks less concerning on radar, that is for sure, with this potentially tornadic cell moving through portions of Delaware. But we still do have this active tornado warning right now that has been extended into the far southwestern quarter of Kent County, Delaware, until 5:45. This was exhibiting a very tight couplet or rotation signature, indicating that supercell thunderstorm is in fact rotating with quite a bit of intensity and could be producing a tornado on the ground. So if you are in southwestern Kent County, Delaware, or northwestern Sussex County, Delaware, you need to be seeking safe shelter. There's still a lot of lightning, and that is an indication that a cell is strengthening or potentially could put down a tornado. There is a history that when a supercell thunderstorm starts to increase its lightning production, increasing its lightning frequency, that it will likely soon thereafter drop a tornado. So this is still a very concerning cell for portions of central and southern Delaware. And also, of course, we've been talking about this tornado warning in effect. Hard to get a good gauge of it because of all of this rainfall, where that specific rotation is going to be. But if you're under that tornado warning in Delaware, Montgomery, or portions of northern Philadelphia County, you certainly need to be seeking safe shelter. This is now our fourth remnants of a tropical system moving through the region. The three previous, Fred, Elsa, and Henri, all produced tornadoes across our region, and some on the stronger side. So we need to take this very seriously. We've already had a possible to even probable tornado move through the Oxford region in Chester County, and the National Weather Service will go out and assess the damage as we head into the day tomorrow to take a look at what's going on there. But there has been multiple reports of downed trees, downed wires, uprooted trees, as well as some damage to some siding of a home. So we need to take this tornado warning very seriously. It's still in effect for parts of the Philadelphia metro until 5:45. Delaware County, Montgomery County, and portions of Philadelphia County as well. As Kate mentioned, Center City, Philadelphia has been dropped from the warning, so that's good news there. But elsewhere, we need to still Seek safe shelter. Stay in your shelter until this warning is expired. The remnants of tropical systems are very capable of producing tornadoes 2, 3, even 4 days after landfall. And that's exactly here what we're seeing with the remnants of Hurricane Ida. And it has a long history of producing tornadic activity across portions of the southeast, the mid-Atlantic, and now moving into our neck of the woods. The two main ingredients we need for tornadic activity are instability and wind shear. And we had wind shear at levels that are extremely high for the Delaware and Lehigh valleys for our atmosphere. And then we also did have some instability that was high as well, mainly concentrated in this area where we're seeing the tornadic activity and some of our southwestern and western PA suburbs in and around Philadelphia, South Jersey, and portions of Delaware. That's what we were concerned with. And unfortunately, that is coming to fruition right now. So we do have a tornado warning in progress if you're just joining us, in effect for Delaware, Montgomery, and portions of Philadelphia County until 5:45. So for about the next 12 minutes, you need to be in the lowest level of your home, away from windows. If you are in a mobile home, those don't fare very well in tornadic winds. You do want to abandon that if you do have the capability and find a more substantial structure. Now is not the time to be going out on the roads. Thanks, Kate. So putting up the what to do in a tornado warning, move to a basement. If you don't have a basement, interior room. Mentioned in the city and in some places, a lot of people live in apartment complexes that are so many floors high. Need to go down, use the stairs and go down to the lowest level and stay away from windows. So an interior closet, a bathroom, those are the places that you want to be, because with these potentially tornadic winds, we can see damage to windows, roofs, vehicles, and trees. I think I'm not sure what we're getting video of people doing things they should not be doing on this particular road. Kate, do you know what this is live video of?
I do not know. It looks like one of our traffic cameras. We're getting a location for you right now. Let's take but you can see, as Lauren said, they're doing exactly what we are telling you not to do. This is Route 30 in Downingtown. So this is an area where we had a tornado warning nearby earlier today. Here's a live look. I believe this is one of the bridges around the city, or possibly the Schuylkill Expressway moving out of the city. This is the Schuylkill and the Vine Expressway moving out of the city. You can see how many people are on the road right now. Things are moving, but again, this is an area where an active tornado warning was just in effect, and you can see all these people out on the roads, possibly driving through that tornado warning area. Right now, the strongest rotation signature looks to be just north of Conshohocken. So I'm looking at it right now. It looks like a pretty decent velocity signature moving up toward, and in fact, a new tornado warning looks like it has just been issued for the Flourtown area, White Marsh, Fort Washington, Abington, Glenside, Winmore. I'm going to pull that up for you. And Lauren is at the wall and can point it out exactly where it is. There's that new tornado warning for the same cell up across portions of Bucks, Mercer, and Montgomery counties, including parts of Northeast Philly. And that's the same cell that went through Lower Merion, which is now shifting off to the north and east. And this is looking like a very strong rotation signature in this area. So if this is just northeast of Plymouth Meeting. If you're in the Plymouth Meeting area, this is headed next for Flourtown, White Marsh, Fort Washington, Ambler, and eventually up toward Maple Glen and Horsham, Abington, also Glenside, right on the edge of this. And you can see, in addition to this tornado warning, look at these trucks and cars driving through the floodwaters on the roads there on our traffic camera. That is very, very dangerous, because if that 18-wheeler makes it, that doesn't have any bearing on whether your smaller car is going to make it through those floodwaters. And this is exactly the kind of behavior that causes high water rescues. You should not be on the road. Now, if you're already in it and the water starts rising, there's not much you can do besides try to get through it or abandon your vehicle. But please, if you come up on an area like this, do not try to drive through it, even if the car in front of you made it through okay. You just do not want to you don't want to put your life at risk to get home possibly a little bit sooner. But again, Lauren, we have two active tornado warnings in effect just in the Pennsylvania, Philadelphia suburbs right now. Here's a look at where they are. One for portions of Montgomery County and Bucks County, one for Philadelphia County, Delaware, and portions of Montgomery County until 5:45. So depending on your location, this goes from 5:45 to 6 o'clock, although it does look like the threat further south has ended in favor of the cell that's moving a little bit further to the north and east. Let's pull it up for you here. There we go. This is the cell we're watching. And again, you can see it does have that pretty classic hook shape to it as it moves up toward the Flowertown area. So again, if you're in Flowertown, White Marsh, this is the area that needs to really be concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. When the National Weather Service issues a tornado warning, they do so on 2 accounts. And typically what we see is a radar indicated tornado. So that does mean that there is rotation. There is no question that this is a rotating thunderstorm, that there is rotation that's ongoing in the atmosphere for some of our PA suburbs right now. Then the question is that rotation producing a tornado, or will it produce a tornado? That is the big concern. So if the National Weather Service gets reports that an observed tornado, they'll also issue a tornado warning, obviously, but we even have to treat radar indicated tornadoes as if the tornado is on the ground, because it could be any second. It's a very brief amount of time it takes a tornado to drop out of a rotating thunderstorm, a supercell thunderstorm, and that's what we could be seeing right now. It looks like, Kate, we have another tornado warning. This was our big concern going into this day. We had the tornado watch issued. We had been watching this for several days. It looked like the parameters were in place with the remnants of Hurricane Ida, that we could have some tornadic activity, a lot of veering in the atmosphere or wind shifting. So at the east of the surface and kind of like going to the south higher up in the atmosphere, and then from the west high up in the atmosphere, and that creates that spin in the atmosphere. You combine that with some instability, and we even saw some sunshine breaking out that just continues to destabilize the atmosphere. The recipe together is what we're seeing right now. Multiple tornado warnings in progress across the region. So if your phone has buzzed for a tornado warning, you need to be seeking safe shelter at the lowest level of your home. It's kind of tricky as well, because then we have the flash flood warnings ongoing as well, especially for portions of PA. And then you don't want to be on the lowest level. So you really have to seek out information, take that information in, and then act in accordance to what the weather is dictating. So tornado warning in effect for portions of Delaware, Montgomery, Philadelphia counties until 5:45. Then looks like we have our newest tornado warning. Looks like potentially that cell that we had over the Smyrna area in Delaware that had been rotating, kind of lost a little bit of that rotation, has now flared back up again. And now we have a new tornado warning in effect for portions of Cumberland County, still in effect for Kent County, Delaware, Newcastle County, a little sliver there in Delaware, and also Salem County, New Jersey. These cells have been trending to move to the northeast at about 40, 45, even 50 miles per hour. That is pretty fast forward progression, especially as you're getting towards the 50 mile per hour. So you need to be seeking safe shelter immediately. You don't really have a minute to spare. So here is the position of this cell right now. So I would guess that the rotation is probably going to be right into this area right along here, just south of Lower Aloysius Creek, moving off to the north and east. This tornado warning stretching into portions of South Jersey. And we'll have to keep an eye on this cell as well, because we could see this warning extended further up into New Jersey to some of our nearby suburbs to Philadelphia. But again, we do have this now tornado warning in effect for Cumberland County, also portions of Kent and Newcastle County, Delaware. Although it looks like the cell is kind of pulling out over the bay there and kind of moving, really the concentration and the concern is going to be for portions of New Jersey, Kate.
That is absolutely right, Lauren. So here, 2 active tornado warnings. The one in Kent County has been dropped further to the south. This one has been allowed to expire. It hasn't dropped off yet. It won't until 5:45. As we head down a little further to the south, we have active warnings in Sussex County. But again, one here for Cumberland and Salem counties, and another very dangerous area over portions of Montgomery County. This is, again, until 5:45 or 6 o'clock, depending on your location, as this cell moves into Montgomery County. And again, if you're in Abington, if you're in White Marsh, these are the areas that are experiencing a tornado warning. And you may have seen very clearly when we showed the active warnings in our area just a moment ago, it all depends on your location. So right now, from around the city and nearby suburbs on south, that's where the risk for a tornado is highest. North and west of the city, that's where the flash flood threat is highest. The problem is right here, where we have this active tornado warning right near the turnpike, just about to move over the turnpike. This area is not only in a tornado warning, but also in a flash flood warning. So you could, worst case scenario, have people dealing with flooding on the lower levels of their homes and an active tornado warning where they're trying to do what we say. And as Lauren said, get down to the lowest level, get to the basement, get to the first floor, but there's flooding happening. The basement may be flooded. So again, you have to weigh the risk where you are. But if you're in this area where there is an active tornado warning for portions of Bucks, Montgomery, and eventually extending up into Mercer County, you need to be in a basement. You need to be away from windows, bottom floor of your home, and stay safe until the threat passes. Again, this particular tornado warning goes until 6 o'clock. Further to the south, we have a couple more active tornado warnings in Delaware. Again, you can see that shape, the hook of that storm as it lifts toward Abington right now. Again, if you're in Glenside, if you are in Abington, it's headed your way next. If you're in White Marsh Township, very heavy rain. And look at the rain on the roadway here. This is in Downingtown. I believe this is along Route 30 still in Downingtown. It looks as though they're diverting traffic completely to the shoulder here because the entire roadway looks to be covered in water and it's moving very slowly. The rain does not really show any indication that it's going to let up anytime soon in this area either. So it's only going to get worse before it gets better. I think people are just trying to get home and get to a safe space right now as this is happening during the evening commute. Very slow go. And again, they're trying to stay safe and divert people to the side of the road so people do not have to drive through that flood water. So again, just to recap what we have going on right now with the remnants of Ida, we have flash flood warnings blanketing the entirety of southeastern Pennsylvania. We have 2 to 3 active tornado warnings, one for portions of Montgomery County. This is a very dangerous storm, just about to push across 309, pushing across the turnpike as we speak. This had a very clear rotation couplet, a very clear rotation signature with it. Would not be surprised to hear that we've gone back and assessed the damage and seen that a tornado did touch down, or at least straight line wind damage has taken place in this area. We have another active tornado warning for portions of Cumberland and Salem counties. This is a cell that was over Kent and Newcastle that survived over the Delaware Bay, now has pushed into South Jersey. Tornado warning there, and still an active tornado warning for Sussex County, Delaware, as that cell, which again was exhibiting very strong rotation, pushes to the south across that area. So here's the active tornado warning just in the city of Philadelphia, northwest Philly. That goes until 5:45. The threat seems to have mainly passed from the southern areas of this warning, so that will be allowed to expire in 1 minute. It's the area to the north and west where the greatest threat is right now. And Lauren, what are you seeing on your radar there?
It appears as though that this rotation signature is very defined. Regardless if there's a tornado on the ground, we're likely dealing with 70 to 75 mile per hour winds in the area of Fort Washington, Ambler, Maple Glen, up into Springhouse. This moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. Also on another application we look at called correlation coefficient, there is indication of a debris ball. So there is likely a tornado on the ground in this area. Fort Washington, Ambler, Maple Glen, moving to the northeast. If you are in line for this tornadic cell, you need to be seeking safe shelter immediately. So we'll try to get you over to...
I believe I had a layer in with a bit of a correlation coefficient. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but this is some of there's that bright shading. What are we looking at here? Here is right about here, Glenside, Abington. This is where we're looking at some of that rotation. It's just shifted north and east of Lower Merion, Bryn Mawr. So if we go a little bit further to the north and east here, I think we'll see a bit more of that rotation happening just north of the turnpike. This is the area that it has already gone through. It started out near Marple, right across 476, and then right up here into portions of central Montgomery County right now, or eastern Montgomery County, Maple Glen, Lower Gwinnett. You can see, and again, it's tough to see, but what we're looking at here, where you see the bright red and then the bright green, and they're kind of surrounding one another. This is where you are seeing that potential rotation. Where you see the brighter colors, that's where the wind is moving at a faster speed, a higher velocity. So the bright red kind of encompassed by that bright green, which you see right here, just moving over 152 near Maple Glen, a very clear indication that there may be a tornado currently on the ground in this area. This is the same cell that moved through Lower Merion, moved through northwestern Philadelphia, and now is pushing into portions of southeastern Montgomery County, Maple Glen up toward White Marsh, Abington, Glenside, all of these areas next in line for this potential tornadic cell. And I believe the next we're going to track this for you. I also think we can show you the correlation coefficient if it's showing up on our system. But here's where it's headed next. Neshaminy by about 552, Palomino Farms by 554, and headed quickly toward Bucks County. So again, if you're in Bucks County, if you're in the Neshaminy area, around the Neshaminy Mall perhaps, this was an area that was impacted, of course, by tornadoes earlier this year, earlier this summer. We know that these areas sustained a good amount of damage. We also had a lot of flooding with this, and now we're watching another potential tornado moving into this same region. So it looks as though this is a little bit scattered. It's tough to see here, but where you see some of the brighter colors, this is what we call a correlation coefficient. And what we use this for is to determine whether there is debris, any sort of a debris ball that would indicate where a tornado is moving through. It's not looking cut and dry right now, but it is looking very nasty on the radar. This cell right here moving through Montgomery County, and now it has shifted a little further into Bucks County as well. So here's our active tornado warning. The one until 5:45 has been allowed to expire. Right now, the most dangerous situation we have currently is this warning right here over portions of eastern central Montgomery County, moving into Bucks County, Warminster, Neshaminy, these areas next in line for this storm to head your way. A couple more spots here, Buckingham, Warrington, down toward Horsham, right in the line of this potential very dangerous cell. The Horsham-Hatboro area right along 611 there, which I know is a very busy road this time of night of people heading north from, even from Broad Street all the way up into Bucks County. There's 309, and wow, look at that. Yeah. That's a shear track, which shows where this storm was as of the last time we swept the area for shear, which basically is wind rotation. So it's a clear indication of where a tornado may have gone through. And you may remember when we were looking at this over Montgomery County, we saw these little tiny yellow blobs indicating a shear track. Now it looks as though this cell is strengthening. And as Lauren said earlier, you often see when a storm starts to exhibit more lightning, that's an indication that it is strengthening as well. So you can see that shear track. As this storm moved, look at that. That is to me, that is a pretty clear indication that they're going to come back and find some tornado-related damage on the ground as that storm moved through. So if we move down to the south here, you can see down toward Upper Dublin, you can see this, and it's still climbing to the north and east. This is where it is right now. Upper Dublin 309, about to shift over 63. Very clear indication that there is rotation happening within the wind field, within this supercell thunderstorm, as it shifts from Montgomery County into Bucks County, and it is strengthening as it goes. So we cannot stress it enough. If you're in this tornado warning, this is for much of Montgomery County, southern Montgomery County, Bucks County. It does extend up into Mercer County. This is where the worst of it is right now. It's about to shift over 63, headed toward Horsham, headed toward Warminster, headed toward Neshaminy Street Road, up toward Doylestown. If you are in any of these areas, you need to be seeking shelter. And I know there are flash flood warnings in effect currently as well. If you have flooding in your basement, obviously you don't want to be in the floodwaters either, but get away from windows. Interior room is best. Make sure your devices are charged. You can take us with you with the CBS Philly weather app. You can track the radar, even if you lose power as this storm comes through, because you'll want to know when the threat has ended. Right now, it's 6 p.m. for this warning to come to an end, but I would imagine, based on where the storm is now, and based on the speed of it, I would imagine this will be extended past 6 o'clock tonight. So if you're in Neshaminy, 556. If you're in Warrington, 558, as this cell is moving north and east at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. Lauren has more for us.
Hey, the National Weather Service is saying that an extremely dangerous tornado is ongoing northwest of Philly. So as we were thinking, this tornado is on the ground and it is extremely dangerous. If you are under a tornado warning right now in Pennsylvania, please seek safe shelter. This is the real deal. This cell is on the ground. It is a tornado. It is dangerous and is continuing to move to the northeast at 40 to 45 miles per hour. Again, located in Montgomery County, about to push itself into Bucks County. So if you are in these areas, you want to be seeking safe shelter immediately. On radar application that I'm looking at on my personal device, there is indication of a debris ball, which means that debris is being lofted into the air by a tornado that is currently on the ground. There will be flying debris. That's how people are injured in tornadoes, by flying debris, by fallen trees. Please get away from the windows. Go to the lowest level of your home, an interior bathroom, an interior hallway, and seek safe shelter. Take your family members. You want to get down on the ground and protect your head right now, because we are dealing with a tornado that is dangerous, and it is on the ground approaching the Warrington area right now, moving to the northeast, eventually also the Jameson area under this warning. Doylestown, eventually, you could see this. It's also in the vicinity of the Chalfont, New Britain area. I would seek safe shelter in these regions as well. You can never be too careful or too safe in these situations, Kate. Again, National Weather Service saying that an extremely dangerous tornado is ongoing northwest of Philly right now. If your phone activated and you're under a tornado warning, please seek shelter if you are in Montgomery or Bucks County.
And you know, what we're looking at right here, by the way, on the side is Route 309 in Bucks County. And this is an area where this potential tornado is going to be crossing 309, or is doing so as we speak. And you can see the myriad hazards that are happening right now. The road is covered in water. People are trying to divert off this road, trying to get out of here, because just look at that car driving through that water. It's all the way up to the top of the wheel wells. Incredibly dangerous situation based on the flash flooding. And I can tell you right now, this is my 11th year here at CBS Philly. I've tracked tornadoes before. I've never seen language from the National Weather Service until this summer saying an extremely dangerous tornado is on the ground in the Philadelphia metro area, until this summer, and now it's happened twice. We had that happen with the tornado that was near Bensalem earlier this summer. We had that language from the National Weather Service, an extremely dangerous tornado ongoing. Once again tonight, this is repeating itself. The National Weather Service stating an extremely dangerous tornado ongoing on the ground northwest of Philadelphia. Like Lauren said, this is the real deal. This is happening. This is not radar indicated. Radar indicated tornadoes are also incredibly dangerous. Oftentimes they turn out to be tornadoes on the ground. But this is an ongoing, extremely dangerous tornado on the ground just north of Abington, just pushing into Bucks County, headed toward Neshaminy, headed toward Doylestown eventually. You need to be in a safe space. If you that may not be aware that this is happening, get them on the phone, send them a text, tell them to get to the basement to get away from this storm, because there is a very clear indication that a very large and very dangerous tornado is on the ground, likely causing immense amounts of damage. And it's going to be exacerbated by the flooding. That's something we cannot stress enough. You've had 4, 5, maybe 6 inches of rain so far today. The ground is completely saturated. Flooding is happening. You have trees that are going to be loosened in the ground based on the incredibly wet soil. Now you have tornado winds coming through. Not only could those winds knock down the trees, that could then knock down the power lines. Then you're dealing with a situation where you could have live power lines, live wires in floodwaters on the ground. The threat just snowballs, and it's continuing to get worse as we go through the rest of tonight. So this warning is currently in effect until 6 o'clock. We're going to continue to monitor it and tell you whether or not this will be extended. I believe it will be, because it appears that this is happening and this is on the ground right now. And we're only 5 minutes away from 6 o'clock. This cell still looking very dangerous and very active as it just now crosses the border from Montgomery County into Bucks County. And again, the wording from the National Weather Service, an extremely dangerous tornado ongoing northwest of Philadelphia. This is in a very populated area during a very active, busy time of day when people may be out on the roads trying to get home from work, trying to get home from school. Maybe we're trying to head to, hopefully not, hopefully everything was canceled, any event that was going to be held tonight. Hopefully this was canceled well in advance of this Ida event, because we were telling you all week this was going to be a very dangerous situation. But look at that shear track indicating where that cell has been and where that cell is now going. It looks like Warrington probably up next, Doylestown after that. This is riding right along 611 here. And again, this is basically an extension of Broad Street, right? So this goes right from northern Philadelphia, right up through Bucks County. A lot of people take this road to avoid I-95 perhaps. We are likely seeing flooding along 611, and now we are very possibly seeing a tornado that's going to ride right along this roadway up to a very busy area like Warrington and like Doylestown. This is still west of I-95, but eventually this is all shifting to the east. So you can see this track. Again, when we looked at this at first, it looked like a couple of blobs down here near the Blue Route. Now this shear track is showing where a potential tornado touchdown may have occurred. Near Upper Dublin, it looks likely. There's the edge of it. So again, this is showing a historical track. This is showing where it has been, and this is showing where it's headed next. Still an active tornado warning for the next 3 minutes. Bucks, Montgomery, Mercer counties. I do expect that this will be extended. If it's not, it will certainly at least be a severe thunderstorm warning where we have the potential for wind gusts in excess of 70 or 75 miles per hour. There are active water rescues happening in this area as well. Roads are completely underwater, and we still have hours of rainfall still to get through before this threat even diminishes a bit, although it does look like the heaviest of the rain is probably happening right now and through the next possibly hour or two before the heaviest shifts out and we're left with some moderate rainfall. But again, the most dangerous situation we have right now is this active tornado warning in effect for portions of Montgomery and Bucks counties. It looks like that cell is just about to cross the border or has just crossed the border into Bucks County. So the areas at greatest risk right now appear to be spots right along 611 from Warrington up toward Doylestown, New Britain, right along 202 there as well. Now a new tornado warning has been issued as expected. This has been extended until 6:30, and pretty much all of lower Bucks County is now under a tornado warning. Northampton, Solbury Township, this extends up into Mercer County, right toward Hopewell, right toward Raritan, right toward Trenton as well. A new tornado warning now until 6:30 p.m. And Lauren, maybe you have some stats on this new one for us, where it's headed and how quickly it's moving.
Yes, the new tornado warning, central Bucks, northwestern Mercer County until 6:30 p.m. Also Somerset and Hunterdon counties included in this as well. In New Jersey, cell moving off to the north and east at 50 miles per hour. Again, this is the same storm that is producing that large, observed, confirmed, and dangerous tornado that we have been tracking. So if you are in these areas, central Bucks County, northwestern Mercer County, you need to be seeking safe shelter. Areas include Doylestown, Princeton, Chalfont, New Hope. So please seek safe shelter. We have seen indications of debris being lofted into the air by this tornado that has been observed on the ground and doing damage. So you want to be in the lowest level of your home and seeking safe shelter with yourself and your family members. This is the real deal. The previous warning was a PDS warning, a particularly dangerous situation warning. That was, now this is the extension of that PDS warning. It's mind-blowing that in the Delaware Valley that we're getting PDS tornado warnings. That is the most serious type of tornado warning, but there are still damaging winds in excess of 70 miles per hour in association with this cell, and there are still indications of lofted debris, Kate, in and around, especially the Warrington area, I think is the area of most concern right now, but stretching up into the Brittany Farms, Chalfont, New Britain, eventually Doylestown, Furlong, Fountainville, and even into Buckingham if the cell stays together, which these type of cells typically do. Supercell thunderstorms or rotating thunderstorms are long-lived, long-track thunderstorms, and we need to take them seriously. This could traverse the entire area. They can cover tens of miles of ground, Kate, and we've seen this in other remnants of tropical systems that have moved through the summer.
We have seen this over and over again this summer, and a really good point about the PDS warning. We've had a few PDS severe thunderstorm warnings, but not very often, at least not that I can remember, have we had a PDS tornado warning, a particularly dangerous situation tornado warning in the Philadelphia metro area. This has been a summer of records, and this day, we're not through it yet, but once we are, and we will get through it, this is going to set the record likely for most tornado warnings issued in a year for our local National Weather Service office. I do want to tell you we have another tornado warning in effect now. This is the same cell that moved from Delaware, now is in effect for portions of Gloucester County, Salem into Gloucester County. So basically on both sides of Philadelphia, we have these severe supercell storms moving through. We have one warning until 6:30 for portions of Bucks, portions of Mercer County with that cell that we saw just a bit ago. Now we have another tornado warning for Salem and Gloucester counties. If you are in eastern, or I should say western Gloucester County, basically just outside of the city of Philadelphia here, Washington Township, areas where people are likely commuting from the city here tonight, just over the Ben Franklin Bridge and headed down south into Gloucester County. This is a tornado warning for you. You can see this cell does have a debris track, or I should say a shear track, from the Delaware Bay right over into portions of Salem County, moving into western Gloucester. So there's that one tornado warning. We still have an active tornado warning in Bucks County. Again, Warrington up toward Doylestown, the areas that are most impacted right now, and another strong storm down near Dover, Delaware. So you can see some of these areas of rotation where we see the green embedded within the red. It has now shifted just north of Warrington, right there. Just south of 202 is the area we're watching, and this is what we call our correlation coefficient. This is going to show us if there is debris associated with the potential tornado. Where you see this bright color just north of Buckingham, that could be the leading edge of a debris ball or a debris cloud shifting up from the Warrington area toward the Doylestown area right now. So I can't stress this enough. We can't stress this enough. If you're in this part of Bucks County, you need to be in a basement. You need to be away from windows. This is a large, dangerous tornado that is very likely on the ground as we speak in Bucks County. Several tornado warnings, again, Gloucester and Salem until 6:30. Bucks and Mercer counties until 6:30. We have another cell near Dover that is looking particularly strong right now that may trigger a tornado warning. In addition to that, the flash flood warnings blanketing the region tonight. Almost every part of our area from the city on west is currently experiencing flash flooding. You can see the heaviest of the rain, the worst of it is moving through, or at least the back edge of the heaviest rain is moving through Chester County right now. It's slightly lighter as you get back toward Lancaster County. So it's the next several hours that we are going to remain in the thick of it. This is the Schuylkill Expressway. You can see how slow things are. Traffic nearly stopped, likely due to flooding. You can see likely a police officer there along the shoulder, possibly heading up to divert traffic from the floodwaters there along the Schuylkill. You can see cars going around a big area of flooding. This is at Conshohocken, which is a spot where the cell that is now in Bucks County moved right over Conshohocken, brought heavy rain and possible wind damage. Again, we're not going to know the full extent of what this tornadic cell has produced until this storm is over. It's not safe for the National Weather Service, obviously, to send teams out to assess any damage while this is ongoing. So probably won't be until tomorrow, if not Friday, before we get any actual information as far as whether a tornado touched down, which we do know it is a confirmed tornado, but where it touched down, how strong it was, and how much damage it incurred as it moved through. There's another tornado warning just across the border of Newcastle County there. If you see right here, there's 3 active tornado warnings. This one is for Cecil County, Maryland, just over the border, but this is likely going to shift into Newcastle County. Wouldn't be surprised to see that. We have this one until 6:30 for, Salem and Gloucester counties, and of course, Bucks into portions of Mercer County and into northern New Jersey. That cell shifting up that way. Bucks County has had quite the summer. Bucks County has had, of course, the tornadoes earlier in the year, has had the devastating flooding around the Croydon area as well. And now we're dealing with yet another particularly dangerous tornado, large confirmed tornado, likely on the ground near Doylestown, moving up very quickly, will likely ride right along the border of Mercer and Hunterdon counties there. Raritan, Pennington, just northwest of Trenton, the area that's in that tornado warning. Again, we are starting to see, you can see based on the shear track, it does look slightly less intense. It looks like it has weakened a bit, but there is still a good indication that a tornado may still be on the ground. And by the way, even if the tornado is not on the ground, we're still dealing with severe thunderstorm winds in excess likely of 70 or 75 miles per hour. Now we move down into portions of Salem County. You can see that shear track near Alloway headed up toward Piles Grove. This goes until 6:30. This is going to likely cross from Salem into Gloucester County. So if you're in Mullica Hill, if you're in Woolwich Township, if you're in Mantua, these are areas where you have a little tiny bit of lead time here, maybe 10, 15 minutes to not panic, calmly get yourself to where you need to be. Hopefully you have a plan in place. In a summer like this one has been, I would hope that everyone has a safe place, has a severe weather plan in place if this happens. You can see that track and look at these shear tracks across the region. This is very, very intense. Where you see the yellow lines, an indication of where very likely tornadoes or at least severe, very strong thunderstorms have rolled through. This one, though, that's something you don't see very often in this area. When you see those bright colors, the oranges, the reds, moved right across lower Montgomery County from basically the main line up through the Hatboro Horsham area, Flourtown, Upper Dublin. This was very likely a tornado on the ground. It may still be on the ground as it pushes toward Buckingham, Bucks County, and eventually up toward Plumstead, Solberry, and then crossing into New Jersey by about 6:30 tonight. But this system is far from over. Even if the tornado threat winds down, which it has shown no indication of doing, we are still dealing with massive amounts of rain and flash flooding. Look at the back edge of this. It's still all the way by State College, hours and hours away. Now, the worst of the rain is happening right now, and hopefully once these two areas where you see the red and orange shading, once these shift out, hopefully at least the rain will decrease in intensity slightly, but by that point the damage has already been done. You already have flash flooding. You already have rivers, creeks, and streams going above flood stage, possibly to major flood stage, and any additional rain that falls later tonight would just serve to exacerbate that flooding threat. The worst of it has been this line right here. And you can see it's basically the same line as Lauren was telling us earlier, what we call a quasi-linear convective structure that developed a line of storms that rolled through and is now basically extending from portions of Bucks County all the way down towards Salem County with active tornado warnings. In addition, take a look at the flooding we're seeing right now. This is around the Conshohocken Curve along the Schuylkill. You shouldn't be out on the road. I understand people have to get to work, and even people have to get to where they need to be, or at least trying to get off the roads and get home. But this is an incredibly dangerous situation. This is the Schuylkill Expressway, and you can see the floodwaters pushing the traffic right to the median there. You have to hug the median just to get through that flooding. And we still have hours of rain yet to go. So if this gets worse, we could be talking about water rescues possibly on the Schuylkill Expressway. Just another indication, as we reiterate, if you don't need to leave your house tonight, do not leave your house tonight. And if you're in that tornado warning area, again, right now active from Salem into Gloucester counties and into Bucks County and Mercer counties, you need to be in a safe space. It looks like they may have trimmed back that tornado warning slightly over Bucks County, possibly shifting into Mercer County right now. The flooding is ongoing. And there's that active tornado warning. You can see that line moving right through central Bucks County. It is still in effect for portions of central Bucks County right now. Buckingham toward Raritan, up toward Hunterdon County, mainly included in that tornado warning. So they have shrunk the box slightly. We are still seeing that warning over Gloucester and Salem counties right now. Piles Grove up toward Woolwich. Right over the bridge there, you can see there's 295, 322, Glassboro, Woolwich Township, Piles Grove, Upper Pittsgrove in an active tornado warning, and still monitoring a cell just west of Newcastle County, Delaware, which is tornado warned in Cecil County, Maryland right now, and that cell is pushing very quickly into Newcastle County. So this just keeps, and you can see the flash flood warnings, like we said earlier, they've been bleeding east across the state of Pennsylvania. Now we have active flash flood warnings in the city of Philadelphia and in portions of South Jersey, at least extreme western South Jersey right now, where Lauren is circling for us right now. Those are all flash flood warnings. Where you see the bright red, those are active tornado warnings. This is Darby Borough, an area that is very prone to flooding right along the Darby Creek. You can see some ponding out there on the roads right now. This is only going to get worse, though. Some of the heaviest rain has not even yet fallen in that area, so we expect this to get worse before it gets better as the creeks and streams in our region continue to crest tonight. So we're just seeing some very staggering video right now of major roadways in our area being completely overtaken by water. And of course, we still are in these active tornado warnings until at least 6:30 tonight. This one for Salem and Gloucester counties, another tornado warning until 6:30 for portions of Bucks, and now shifting toward Hunterdon County. So if you're in Buckingham, Bucks County, if you're in Piles Grove or just east, you can see this potential shear track. This is strengthening. You can see the darker colors here along this shear track. So this may be an active tornado right now as well, just poised to move between Piles Grove and Upper Pittsgrove. I believe this is along Route 40 in South Jersey and eventually shifting up into Gloucester County as well. So Lauren, this has been quite an afternoon so far. And as we've been saying, we still have hours to go before the worst of this moves on out, possibly more tornado warnings still to come.
Yeah, Kate, what an active day. It's almost flabbergasting the amount of severe weather and the multiple hazards we're dealing with in association with the remnants of Ida. In particular, the main focus right now, I think, is going to be that cell, that tornado-warned cell. It looks like we're getting some video of some flooding. This is Lower Oxford Township, I believe, in Chester County. Yeah, you can see the water just overflowing on the guardrails there. Wow, look at the height of that water. You do not want to be out on the roads tonight. Even into tomorrow, we're still going to have to concern ourselves with stream, creek, and river flooding, as these waterways won't crest until tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. This person is outside with an umbrella. I would advise to go indoors because we are dealing with dangerous weather right now. Perhaps he's just observing the height of that water flowing over the roadways. Never drive into a flooded roadway. We have flash flood warnings in effect for almost the entirety of southeastern Pennsylvania right now. But I think, again, the main concern is going to be this tornado warned cell in portions of southern New Jersey. There is a very tight rotation couplet right now, and the tornado is likely on the ground. As far as the radar is indicated, the structure I'm seeing also, even if we don't have a tornado on the ground, there is indication of near 90-mile-per-hour winds within this cell that is in the Piles Grove area, just near Piles Grove, just east of Woodstown, approaching Mullica Hill, moving to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. My main concern is going to be also that if this cell holds together, Center City, Philadelphia is potentially in the line for this supercell thunderstorm. So Kate, putting the tracker on that, you can see the timing of this. If we can take that lower third down and give you a better look at the timing. South Harrison, 619, Mullica Hill, 624, 628 in Pittman, Washington Township, 633, Woodbury, 635, 638 in Gloucester Township. So you need to be seeking safe shelter. If I called out your town, you need to be on the lowest level of your home, away from windows. Interior bathroom, hallway is going to be your best bet. We can see damage to roofs, to siding. We can see downed and even uprooted trees. And we also likely are seeing flying debris with this particular cell ongoing right now for portions of South Jersey, particularly in Gloucester County. We can kind of bring it back out to the radar. We see the flooding there, but this is the main concern right there. The South Harrison area, we just had that up. Here is the cell. Here is Philadelphia. So you can see the trend for this cell over the last hour or so, that it potentially could move up to the north and east, right on the fringes, right over the Delaware, potentially nearby suburbs in New Jersey, maybe even potentially into South Philly, if this tornadic cell does indeed hold together. And what is happening with these cells, these supercell thunderstorms, they do something called cycling, where they'll drop a tornado, the tornado will lift. Then it continues to forward progress and drop another tornado, and then it will lift. So that's why we see these shear tracks that go on across a large portion of the state, because we get these supercell rotating thunderstorms that are continually dropping and uplifting tornadoes as they go. So the concern is now, keep your ear out. Philadelphia County, if this cell holds together, it could potentially be moving in for us right now. But the main concern is going to be obviously where it is positioned and where it is moving to next. This tornado warning right here for Glossop and Sailor counties, and in effect until 6:30. Movement off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour, has a strong rotation signature, and I would be surprised if we don't have a tornado on the ground. Again, we're not going to be able to really get observations unless it is a very large and powerful tornado, which we already saw in Pennsylvania. The atmosphere is ripe for tornadic activity. We've now had multiple tornado warnings and probable tornadoes in Chester and Montgomery County. And now, Kate, we're eyeing up this cell right now, moving through portions of South Jersey. Looks like exclusively the concern is going to be right now in Gloucester County, movement off to the northeast. So Camden County and Philadelphia County, get ready. That warning, or the northern extent of that warning, is just south of Philadelphia County and Camden County. So we would like to see the cell certainly weaken, dissipate, but stay on your toes, stay on your heels. If that warning is coming out for you, and that would likely occur within the next hour, you want to be able to seek safe shelter immediately, Kate.
Absolutely, Lauren. And we are getting some reports from the National Weather Service, some reports of potential tornado damage. I just want to show you right now also the flooding that is ongoing. This is taking us to Paoli, Chester County. More flooding on the ground. The rain coming down so heavy, so fast, the ground cannot absorb it. Ponding like this on the roads. You do not want to be out in this. If you can avoid it, stay home tonight. We also had some rain in Darby, a rough commute there. Very heavy downpours and flooding on the ground. I want to tell you a little bit more about the potential tornado in Montgomery County. First of all, at about 6:12 p.m., a confirmed tornado is located near Washington Crossing in Bucks County. And if you remember, that was right near where we had a tornado earlier this summer. Now that cell is moving to the north and east. There it is right there. Still a potential tornado moving across the border, Lambertville, Washington Crossing, Solbury Township into portions of New Jersey. We also have a report in Horsham, Montgomery County. And if you remember, we were watching this storm as it progressed right over Horsham, that we do have potential tornado damage in the area here. They're saying multiple buildings had their roofs blown off. This was along Norristown Road in Horsham. Norristown Road completely blocked with debris. This happened about 5:46 tonight as that potential tornado went through the area. So let's go ahead and kind of regroup here and see what we're dealing with currently. Right now we have several active tornado warnings for our region and a number of active flash flood warnings for our region as well. We'll go ahead and pull up the active warnings for you. So right now, 2 active tornado warnings, also one in Cecil County, Maryland. If you're joining us from there, you are also under a tornado warning, watching that cell as it moves a little bit closer to Newcastle County, Delaware. Again, the possible tornado that moved through Montgomery County is now pushing from Bucks into portions of Hunterdon County, New Jersey. But right now, the most dangerous cell we're watching and some of the heaviest rain and strongest storms we've seen all day right now moving through the city of Philadelphia. But right now, a very likely tornado may be on the ground here over portions of Gloucester County. And it is, Lauren showing me right now on the rotation signature on this particular cell. It looks very, very nasty right now moving through Gloucester County. On our other box here, we're showing you the Commodore Barry Bridge, where you can see flooding on the off-ramp there as well. But the more dangerous situation, you know, it's really interesting to have multiple active flash flood warnings, multiple active high water rescues, and that is the less dangerous part of what's happening right now. Generally speaking, a flash flood event like this is something that doesn't happen very often. It's very rare. It's very dangerous. But right now, more dangerous is this potential tornado, which may be on the ground here over portions of Gloucester County. If you're in Glassboro or right along this roadway here across Gloucester County, that is going to be the area that this storm is moving through right now. Would not be surprised to see a new tornado warning issued to the north of this. We're hoping that this cell loses some of its rotation. But again, this could lose some rotation, could weaken briefly, and then re-strengthen again, and then weaken and re-strengthen again. And if it stays on that north and slightly northeast path, that is going to take it right through possibly South Philly, right through Camden, right into Camden County. And again, that would be within the next 20 to 30 minutes. So if you're in these areas, this is likely the most dangerous situation we have ongoing right now. Now, if you're on the roads, that may be a completely different scenario because, again, it depends where you are and what you're dealing with. If you're safely within your home, flash flooding probably not impacting you just yet. On the roads north and west of Philadelphia, though, it is a very dangerous situation with all of our counties completely blanketed in flash flood warnings from Newcastle County, Philadelphia County, Delaware, Chester, Montgomery, Bucks County, all under flash flood warnings. We now have 3 active tornado warnings, make that 4. A new one was just issued. That one just popped up, I believe. Lauren, if you could zoom in on that one, I think we just got a new one. And I'm not sure if that's the same cell that was near Washington Crossing or if that's a separate cell, but we now have 2 kind of adjacent tornado warnings. It may just be covering the same cell as it moves to the north and east, but now one from Buckingham up into Hunterdon County. And this is kind of where it was before. They scaled it back and almost reissued it for Upper Makefield, Newtown, Grant, Newtown, Bucks County, and into portions of northern Mercer County as well. So 2 active tornado warnings. This, again, was the same cell that moved through Montgomery County. You can see some additional rotation perhaps down around Richboro. This is the same cell that moved through Montgomery County and prompted the National Weather Service to issue what we call a PDS or particularly dangerous situation tornado warning, something we don't see very often around here. It is a confirmed tornado. It was on the ground, and now likely that cell is moving from Buckingham right along 202, Solebury, Washington Crossing, up toward Raritan, Hunterdon County. But a second tornado warning has also been issued just to the south and east of that from Northampton up toward Upper Makefield, Pennington, and Hopewell in Mercer County until 6:30 tonight. So 2 active tornado warnings with likely what may be the same cell moving quickly through portions of Bucks County. So again, here's what we're looking at, and this is basically the same line. Right here, a potential tornado moving from Buckingham, from Washington Crossing up into New Jersey. That extends down toward Abington. It extends now through the city of Philadelphia, which is not under a tornado warning, but is experiencing severe weather right now. And now a very dangerous cell right here over Gloucester County in a tornado warning until 6:45. And here's another new one that has just been issued, and we told you this was going to happen until 6:45 tonight. Burlington County, Camden County, Gloucester County, you can hear our phones going off, and Philadelphia County. So the second tornado warning now today for the Philadelphia metro area, for the city of Philadelphia, but also Burlington, Camden, Gloucester counties, a new warning with that same cell. Again, we had suspected that that was going to happen. You can hear the phones going off in the background. This goes until 6:45 now as this storm moves to the north and east. A very dangerous storm, likely with a tornado on the ground. And you can see, it was a good point that Lauren made earlier. If you watch these storms as they move through, this one is strengthening. It appears to be strengthening. It has more lightning than it did even just 10, 15 minutes ago.
Interrupt you, but the National Weather Service, they have a spotter confirmed that a large tornado, a wedge-shaped tornado, is on the ground with this tornado warning east of Mullica Hills observed by a firefighter. And now that warning extending into Burlington, Camden, Gloucester, and Philadelphia counties in effect until 6:45. Again, this is now an observed, confirmed large tornado on the ground just east of Mullica Hills, New Jersey. Visual on a wedge-shaped large tornado. If your phone just went off, you need to seek shelter right now, Kate.
Immediately get to a basement, get to an interior room, get away from windows. This is for eastern portions of the city of Philadelphia, including Center City, Philadelphia, right here, South Philly, eastern Philadelphia, up into portions of the northeast. But here is the potential tornado, not potential tornado, the confirmed tornado, a large, as Lauren just told us, wedge-shaped tornado on the ground near Mantua that had a new tornado warning to be issued. Second time today, we've heard wording from the National Weather Service of a large, dangerous tornado on the ground with the remnants of Ida moving through. If you are just joining us, if you're in this area, Burlington, Camden, Gloucester, Philadelphia counties, you need to be in a safe space right now. You need to be in your basement. You need to be in an interior room away from windows. If you need to turn the volume up so you can hear us, we'll tell you when this threat expires, but get to where you need to be. Stay calm, stay collected, please stay safe. This is a large, dangerous tornado moving to the north and east from Mullica Hill up toward Mantua. So it looks like the actual center, the actual potential tornado that's on the ground has just passed through Mullica Hill. It's riding right along 45, moving up toward Deptford. Eventually, this will put it moving up through the interchange here, the Ben Franklin Bridge, the Walt Whitman first, then the Ben Franklin Bridge, 676, eventually into the city of Philadelphia, Gloucester City, Camden, Cherry Hill, Deptford, all of these spots. If we're saying your town's name, again, these are areas where this is headed next. You want to get to a safe space right now. Here's the timing on this. Mantua 6:26, Woodbury Heights 6:29, Deptford by 6:31, Sunset Beach 6:32, Belmar 6:36, and Haddon Heights by 6:38 tonight. Again, this is a tornado warning, and this is a confirmed tornado, a tornado on the ground spotted near Mullica Hill. A wedge-shaped tornado, a very dangerous large tornado on the ground in our area, moving through Gloucester County, headed toward Camden County, and could possibly roll right through South Philly, right near the airport, right along I-95, right along 676. This is going to impact the Walt Whitman Bridge. This is going to impact the Ben Franklin Bridge, and a lot of people are out on the roads right now. I cannot stress how dangerous this situation is. It's moving very quickly. You can see the dark clouds gathering as we look live. I believe this is our shot of the Ben Franklin from the other side of the river from Camden. You cannot see the bridge right now. You cannot see the city of Philadelphia on the other side of the bridge right now. That is how obscured by rain it is. If there is a tornado, you are likely going to have a very tough time seeing it. You shouldn't be trying to see it anyway because you should be in the basement. Here's what it looks like right now as this cell moves to the north and east. Flash flooding is ongoing. And now an active tornado warning once again for the city of Philadelphia, for western Camden County, western Gloucester County. Here's the shear track. This shows us where the tornado has likely gone and where it is going to be headed next. So again, Mullica Hill, just east of Mullica Hill, that's where that shear track is on the eastern side of the cell. Up next, Mantua, Deptford, right up 45, right along 47, then crossing 295 and up along I-95 as well. Very, very busy road this time of night, as we know. There's the Schuylkill interchange with I-95 right along the eastern side of Philadelphia. This cell is likely going to ride right along I-95 during rush hour. And again, reports from the National Weather Service, this is a confirmed tornado, a confirmed large, dangerous tornado on the ground with an active warning now until 6:45 for parts of Camden, Gloucester, Burlington, and Philadelphia counties. You can see it's the eastern side of the city, much of Center City included in this, much of northeastern Philadelphia like Fishtown, like Kensington, Northern Liberties, all included in this active warning, and up into the northeast as well as you head up toward the Bustleton area. Spots that were impacted by tornadoes earlier this year, that's where this warning is headed next. So again, we've shifted our focus a bit from the large, dangerous tornado that was on the ground in Montgomery and Bucks counties, now that pushing out into northern New Jersey, and now we are focusing on another large, dangerous tornado on the ground in Gloucester County, New Jersey, headed very quickly for Camden County. This is moving to the north, northeast at about 40 miles per hour, and again, an active tornado warning has been issued for the area. This is our camera along Spring Garden Street. This is at our studios, and you can see right now heavy downpours, very low visibility. This is heading in from basically going to ride along the Delaware River, it seems like, just possibly to the east of the Delaware River. So very dangerous developing situation underway right now. 422 eastbound in Phoenixville, my hometown, dealing with flooding. You can see the road has been closed. It looks like all of 422 closed and traffic diverted onto the exit ramp there, hopefully getting to higher ground. Very smart thing to do. If the floodwaters get too deep, you cannot drive through them. But again, this is impacting large, major thoroughfares in our region, including the Schuylkill Expressway, 422, and likely, eventually, I-95 as well. So again, multiple active tornado warnings, multiple active flash flood warnings. This is the height of the storm right now. And again, this is the real deal. 2 confirmed large, dangerous tornadoes already reported on the ground in the greater Philadelphia area today. And we're not done with this system yet. There's a live look from our
Kate,
roof cam.
I don't want to interrupt you, but we have a new report coming in as of 6:29. A visual on a large tornado southeast of Mantua can confirm multiple technical rescues of people trapped in collapsed structures with this tornado warning that is in effect. So we'll continue this coverage. I'm going to toss it over to Yuki and Jess right now. But again, if your phone has gone off, you are in this tornado warning. We are dealing with a confirmed large and dangerous tornado that is having damage, and people are now trapped in structures.
Oh, my. Okay, Lauren, thank you so much. Kate and Lauren, excellent job. But stay right there. We're going to stay with you until the threat of tornadoes passes. Activity, once again, has been spotted and confirmed.
And if you are looking for the CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell, you can watch that on the CW Philly. Let's get right back to Kate and Lauren for the very latest on these tornado warnings.
Thanks, Yuki and Jessica. We, again, as Lauren just told us, active rescues from damaged structures in our area. I don't recall ever seeing that happen before around here. Again, this is unprecedented, what we're seeing tonight with the remnants of Ida moving through. This is the cell we're watching. Also want to tell you quickly, we now have a new tornado warning for Newcastle County. The cell that was over Cecil County, Maryland, has moved into Newcastle County. We now have a new tornado warning for Newcastle County right here, just south of 495, from Bear up toward Wilmington, now seeing a new tornado warning. It's just southwest of Wilmington, but this has just been issued. It includes Red Lion, Bear, Delaware, Route 13, Route 40, 295, I-95 as well, up toward the Christiana Mall. All of these areas under a tornado warning as well. But let's go back to the warning that's over Gloucester, Camden, and Philadelphia counties right now. Again, this is a confirmed tornado, likely a tornado on the ground as we speak. This is real. And again, people are having to be rescued from collapsed structures due to this tornado, the damage that it has caused. It is moving very quickly to the north and east and headed for Deptford, headed for Woodbury Heights, headed for Belmar, and eventually the city of Philadelphia, Camden, and further north as well, Haddon Heights, Collingswood, places in Camden County next in line for this potential large, dangerous tornado. Lauren, are we getting any other information from the National Weather Service?
That is the latest report, but they did continue the tornado warning until 6:45. Again, observed a large tornado, damage threat considerable for Burlington, Camden, Gloucester, and Philadelphia counties with this tornado that as of 6:28 was located over Woodbury Heights or near Gloucester City, moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. So I'm going to take a look at what specific data they are saying. Law enforcement has confirmed this tornado, as we keep saying and keep reiterating. This is not a drill. This is the real deal. A large, confirmed, dangerous tornado capable of destroying structures is currently ongoing across portions of South Jersey right now, moving to the northeast, and could even impact a portion of Philadelphia County as we head into about the next 30 minutes. So we need to be seeking safe shelter. Impact, National Weather Service, these are their words. You are in a life-threatening situation. Flying debris may be deadly to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be destroyed. Considerable damage to homes, businesses, and vehicles is likely, and complete destruction is possible. I can't ever remember reading a tornado warning like that in the history of my career here in Philadelphia.
That language is just astounding to hear something like that coming from our Mount Holly National Weather Service, who have been doing an amazing job this summer with all of the tornado warnings that we've had. There is a large, life-threatening tornado on the ground. Right now, it is very likely right here where we're zooming in on radar, right along 47, just north of Woodbury, headed toward Belmar, Westville, Haddon, Haddonfield, Cherry Hill, and the eastern part of the city of Philadelphia, right along the Delaware River. Camden, of course, as well included in this. You can see where the tornado warning is, where that box is around that potentially deadly tornado. And again, we don't have any reports of fatalities, but a storm like this is potentially deadly. It is a life-threatening event happening right now in portions of South Jersey and into the Philadelphia area. We also have another tornado warning with this cell moving just now into Delaware. If you're in Bear, Delaware, Newark, Red Lion, this could eventually extend toward Wilmington. And again, we're seeing most of our active tornado warnings were on this basic line here from portions of Bucks County, Mercer County, Hunterdon County, down toward this cell with the active tornado currently just south of 295 near Belmar. But now we're also seeing this new tornado warning in Delaware. So this threat is not ending. Even the storms you see down near Baltimore and into portions of Delaware, these storms can start exhibiting rotation. This is not going to be the end of this, and this threat will continue through the remainder of this evening. We're getting some reports from the National Weather Service here near Woodbury, near Gloucester City, moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour right now. We are hearing reports that a spotter has a visual of a large tornado, or did, at least as of about 5 minutes ago, a visual of that tornado on the ground near Mantua. So again, this is an ongoing situation. We have not gotten any reports that this tornado has lifted or has begun to weaken. It is still on the ground right now, as far as we know, over Gloucester County, moving into Camden County right now, and our warning is active until 6:45 tonight. And again, this does include the city of Philadelphia, This does include areas right along I-95, right along 295. This is the cell we're watching, and it's moving basically right in the center of that warned area to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. An active, large, dangerous tornado on the ground right now in parts of maybe Camden County now. It's right along the border of Camden and Gloucester County. So if you're in these areas, again, we can't stress it enough. You need to be in a safe space. You need to be in a basement. You need to be in an interior room. You need to be away from windows. We've seen so many tornadoes even just this season, but this is the first time that we've had 2 confirmed large, dangerous tornadoes likely on the ground simultaneously in quite some time, except for the event we had back on July 29th when we did have simultaneous tornadoes happening. But again, some of this language that the National Weather Service is using is unprecedented for our area, at least as far as I'm concerned in the modern age of weather we've been experiencing. This is something we don't see in our region, especially this close to the city of Philadelphia, maintaining its strength for as long as it has. And again, this is a life-threatening situation. We've heard of rescues occurring not from flooding, not water rescues. We've had plenty of those as well, but from collapsed structures due to tornadoes. That is something you don't see very often in this area, Lauren. And we've been seeing it all day.
Absolutely. This tornado warning, another PDS tornado warning, a particularly dangerous situation tornado warning. That is the most dangerous kind, as it sounds, of tornado warnings. This tornado is large, extremely dangerous, and continues to move through portions of Gloucester and approaching Camden County. Our latest storm report, significant damage in the area of Mulligan Hill, including several homes damaged near and around the Cedar Road area. So again, National Weather Service wording, confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located over Woodbury at 6:32. So that was 5 minutes ago, moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. So if you are under this tornado warning that is in effect for portions of Burlington, Camden, Gloucester, and Philadelphia County, is the eastern portion of Philadelphia County, you need to be responding immediately. You need to be in your safe shelter right now as you are listening to this. Again, this is the real deal. A tornado on the ground that has a history of producing not damage, significant damage to structures. This is a serious situation. You need to be on the lowest level of your home. You need to be away from windows. Be sure to protect your head. This may sound silly, but it's even grab a helmet, a bike helmet, whatever kind of helmet you have access to, a hockey helmet, and put it on your head, because most people are injured by flying debris, and they are injured when that flying debris does impact their head, Kate.
That's a great tip, Lauren. And, you know, for the kids, if you don't want to scare the kids, just, you know, make it almost a game. We're going to put on our bike helmets. We're going to have a fun camp out down in the basement away from the storm. Let's put on our helmets and have a silly picnic with our iPads, and you can monitor the radar while they try not to panic as these storms come through. You do not want to panic. You want to stay calm in this situation, but you also want to listen to these warnings, listen to the wording. Significant damage has already occurred. A large, dangerous tornado is on the ground. You need to get in a safe space immediately. If you are in this area, Philadelphia, Camden, Gloucester counties right now, especially just north of Gloucester City. You may remember that this all started, our first tornado warning was in Chester County, and we're now getting a look at some of the damage. This is from East Nottingham Township, Chester County, Oxford Township, where there was a tornado warning earlier in this area. Trees right there have been uprooted. Roofs are blown off along Slate Hill Drive. Look at that. We're getting several reports of damage in this area. The National Weather Service will still, again, need to survey this area to see if it was, in fact, a tornado that touched down. I have a feeling this is going to rival our July 29th event, which, as we know, was our most active tornado day on record in Philadelphia, with 10 tornadoes confirmed. Once we go back and assess this damage with this event that is not even over yet, I have a feeling this may rival it. Of course, you don't want to speculate on what's happening, but we know we have at least had 2 confirmed tornadoes, and likely several other touchdowns: Chester County, Montgomery County, Bucks County, and now Gloucester County into Camden County. So right now, Collingswood right in that threat zone, Haddon Township as well. This is a very, as we know, a very populated area in our southeast suburbs. Cherry Hill about to see this storm roll through. There is an indication we have had spotter eyes on a large tornado on the ground near Mullica Hill. It moved up toward Gloucester City. Now it's continuing to move to the north and east. It's going to basically ride right along 76, right along 676 as it enters the Ben Franklin Bridge toward the city of Camden. But it looks like the greatest threat will be just to the north of here. So Pennsauken, Cherry Hill, right up toward Route 130, and then eventually lifting toward Cinnaminson and up toward portions of Burlington County, Philadelphia, kind of on the eastern edge of this. So the city has had one tornado warning just off to the west, and now one particularly dangerous tornado warning just off to the east. The city of Philadelphia so far has not seen an active tornado roll through. However, we still have many hours to go before this event eventually it does start to move on out. We did just get a report that the eastbound lanes of the Blue Route right now are closed for flooding. You can see cars being diverted through that area. Not sure which part of the Blue Route that is, but portions of the Blue Route closed tonight because of the flooding, flash flooding occurring there right now. But again, the more dangerous situation, well, again, if you're stuck in a car on one of these flooded out roads, that of course is the most dangerous situation for you. But on a large level, in the grand scheme of things, this tornado on the ground moving through some of our most populated New Jersey suburbs, a very, very dangerous emergent situation. If you are in any of these towns, Cherry Hill 644, Maple Shade 647, Moorestown 651, Delran 654, 657, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, Bower and Willingboro at 7 p.m. If you're in any of these areas, this is moving slightly to the north and east. You want to get in a safe space now. If you're further to the north, if you're in Willingboro, you've got some time. You don't have to panic. You just have to get moving, get to where you need to be until the threat passes. So we have one linear structure of storms moving through, extending from portions of Hunterdon County through Bucks and down right into Camden County right now. Here's the worst of it. Possible little inflow notch where the wind is coming in right there. Lauren drew that for us perfectly. And you can see that that's likely where wind is flowing into the storm. It begins to rotate around the back edge. So where you see this little hook, that is very likely where a potential tornado is right now, likely crossing right through Haddon Township, moving next toward Route 70 and up toward Cherry Hill. There's a second line of storms behind this first one, which is producing severe weather as well right here. So this is one we'll have to watch. We have an active tornado warning. I believe that's still in effect for Newcastle County. So first, QLCS, this linear structure moving through that has a history of at least 2 dangerous confirmed tornadoes. We've got a second line of storms now moving from northern Montgomery County back toward the main line, down through Delaware County into Newcastle County, Delaware, that had a tornado warning with it. It does not look like that still is tornado warned. We'll take a closer look at that for you in just a moment, but certainly severe thunderstorms moving along I-95 here in Newcastle County, Delaware. And we'll have to watch for additional rotation. Any one of these cells embedded within that line could start to rotate. But the most dangerous, the most emergent situation right now is the potential tornado, the confirmed tornado potentially still on the ground, moving very quickly from Haddon toward Cherry Hill, Haddonfield kind of in that inflow area as well. Right here in this hook is where we expect the worst of that tornado to be right now. So along Route 30, dangerous situation right now with that tornado warning in effect. And that, as for now, I believe it goes until 6:45. Wouldn't be surprised to see that extended until 7 o'clock. For portions of Camden, Burlington, and possibly Philadelphia County. So this is mainly staying just east of Philadelphia. So travelers along the Ben Franklin Bridge, the Walt Whitman Bridge, likely feeling the impacts from this severe storm that does have a history not only of a tornado on the ground, but significant damage and rescues from people in collapsed structures. And this is still ongoing. And again, Lauren, we saw this earlier in Sussex County, that very clear textbook shape of a supercell thunderstorm. We're seeing that again right now in Camden County, and that's a very clear indication that this storm is likely not weakening very much at all as it moves north and east.
Absolutely, yeah. You can see that very classic structure. It might not be apparent to a non-meteorologist, but for us, we're used to seeing this. We studied this. This is what we look for. It's kind of, you would almost compare it to a kidney bean shape in a sort of sense, with a kind of bigger on the left side. But yes, this is a classic signature profile on radar imagery, on reflectivity, that shows us that, yes, this is a supercell thunderstorm. So the rain kind of taking on the shape, showing, exhibiting what exactly that storm is doing. And you can see, as Kate was pointing out, that's where the inflow notch, where the storm is sucking in all of that air. And then you get the rear flank downdraft coming in, wrapping around the left-hand side. That's going to give it that appearance. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we've seen really all day today. And the big concern with these type tornadoes and supercell thunderstorms that produce the tornadoes is that they are long-lived. They are long track. The lifetime of a supercell thunderstorm is much longer than your typical traditional summertime pop-up thunderstorm, because they are so intense. They are supported by the upper atmosphere as well. So they do something called cycling, where the thunderstorm is rotating. It will drop a tornado. The tornado will lift back up. Then as it continues to move along, dropping a tornado as it goes. So we've seen this already with that PDS tornado, particularly dangerous tornado in portions of PA, in Montgomery and Bucks County. And now we're seeing it as well with this particular cell moving through portions of Gloucester and into Camden counties, and now moving into Burlington County, Philadelphia County. The eastern edge is in this warning. Looks like Center City, Philadelphia is just in the clear from this tornado warned cell that has a history of producing damage. Now, the couplet to me looks like it's a little bit less organized at the moment, but that doesn't mean the next moment, the next radar scan, that it won't have organized, and again is putting down a tornado on the ground. So this is something that we have to watch throughout its entire lifetime until it clears our area, because it has that potential at any moment to produce a tornado, and it has already done so in and around the Mullica Hill area in Gloucester County, with structures damaged. And unfortunately, we've seen a report of people trapped in damaged structures by this confirmed tornado with this tornado warning. So again, if your phone went off and you are in the Bucks County, Burlington County, Camden County, and Philadelphia County area, you need to be in your safe shelter place in the lowest level of your home or office, and stay away from windows. The main threat is going to be the potential for flying debris that can injure people, and also the potential for down trees, down wires, uprooted trees to fall on homes, to fall on vehicles. So again, this is not a drill. These are extremely dangerous and powerful storms that are impacting the Delaware and Lehigh Valleys in association with the remnants of Hurricane Ida, and this event is ongoing. Of course, we're focusing right now on the tornado threat, but we still have an ongoing flash flooding threat, with flash flood warnings in effect for really the entirety of southeastern Pennsylvania. So this evening is a great time to stay home and stay abreast of the changing weather situations. Have that phone ready to go. Make sure it is charged, and you have a way to receive all of those warnings. And if you do receive a warning, Kate, to act immediately. You do not want to delay in this situation.
That is such good advice, Lauren. You don't want to say, oh, well, it looks like it's slightly off to the west, because these they're cycling through quickly. These storms can weaken and fire back up again. If you're in the warning, take that as this is happening, and you need to be in a safe space. We had told you about a large tornado in Bucks County and Montgomery County. A viewer took this video for us of what appears to be a tornado or tornadic winds, or severe winds at least, in Fort Washington. Bob says he took it from his hotel bathroom. So at least Bob got into a safe space, got into the bathroom, away from the windows. Sometimes in a shower stall is a good place to be as well. But you can see those high winds roaring throughout the window. We just got a report from the National Weather Service in Fort Washington of extensive tree damage, likely related to a tornado. So you can see the winds just completely blowing the trees sideways there. Extensive tree damage. And seeing that video, I'm glad Bob is safe. Thank you so much for sending that along and staying safe while you did so. After seeing that video, I would imagine that it's pretty clear why the extensive tree damage has been reported. And some new video just in, I believe we have right now. This is a funnel cloud along Route 553 in Mantua Township, Gloucester County. Now, this does not appear to be reaching the ground, although you can't tell from behind the trees there. That looks like what we may have what we may have been referring to when we talked about that large wedge-shaped tornado. You can't tell from behind the trees if it's actually touching the ground, but it does look as though it may be touching the ground there as it moves toward the roadway. That is very intense video. Look at that wedge coming down from the cloud there, likely a tornado in Mantua Township, Gloucester County. Very staggering video to see in our area with what appears to be, again, a large wedge-shaped tornado, very likely on the ground near Gloucester Township. And I'm told our photojournalist, Tom Gardner, has provided us with this video. That is something, look at that wedge there. That's something that you tend to see in Tornado Alley. You don't see that here very often, especially with the rain we've been having. Thank you so much, Tom, for getting that image for us and for staying safe, as I know you did while you got it. Let's take a look at where our tornado warning is right now. Where you're seeing the yellow, that's a potential shear track, so that is tracking the tornado's path. This is the one for Bucks County, the one that went right across. We may have two. Again, there were two tornado warnings. You can see one track this way. Then you may have seen that cell split, and a second tornado may have touched down here and moved into portions of northern Mercer County, where we do still have an active tornado warning. But down to the south here is our tornado warning, which is still in effect for northeast Philly, including Bensalem. This appears to be extended now until 7:15, and it does include portions of Bucks County, northeast Philadelphia. I'm sure folks in Bensalem, the last thing they want to hear is a tornado warning, because Bensalem, of course, was hit with an EF3 tornado on July 29th, now in another tornado warning, an active warning in effect right now until 7:15. It includes Delran, Palmyra, Edgewater Park, Willingboro, up toward Bensalem, Lower Bucks, and basically right to the turnpike there. That's where that active tornado warning is, and this is following the track of that large, dangerous tornado that was spotted on the ground near Mullica Hill. We also have some flooding. Route 30 in Downingtown right now. The westbound lanes are completely closed, as you can see as you look to the left of the median there. Notice the entire roadway is completely covered with water. Again, this is in Downingtown along Route 30. There seems to be some ponding on the eastbound lanes as well, but the westbound lanes of Route 30 completely closed. So if you had travel plans tonight, even tomorrow morning, if your morning commute takes you on Route 30, we'll have to watch and see just how quickly those floodwaters will subside. But right now, many road closures. We've had many reports of high water rescues. And of course, we are not able to focus quite as much on the flash flood threat because we have active tornadoes on the ground as well with this event, and the shear track showing where they went. This one started likely in portions of Salem County, intensified here. This is where it went through the Mullica Hill area where it was spotted on the ground, may have lifted, may have touched back down, and now an active warning still in effect for portions of Philadelphia County, northeast Philly, lower Bucks, and western Burlington County. That one goes until 7:15. We also have an active flash flood warning for the city of Philadelphia and nearby suburbs until 9:15 tonight. Tornado warning right now, we have two of them. One for portions of Burlington, Philadelphia, and Camden counties, lower Bucks as well, and one for portions of Mercer County off to the north. That may have been allowed to expire. That has lifted out of Bucks County and into Mercer County. But this one right here, still active, in effect for Bucks County, Burlington, Camden, and Philadelphia counties. It looks as though this cell is now starting to shift toward portions of western Burlington County or upper Burlington County, and now also will at least brush through the Bensalem area, Palmyra, up into northeast Philadelphia, right along I-95 now. Now, we don't have confirmation that this is still an active tornado on the ground, but we do know that this is the same cell that has had a large tornado confirmed that basically went through Gloucester County from Gloucester City, Mullica Hill, Mantua, up through Camden County, and now still tornado warned as it moves across I-95. That is incredibly dangerous. This is a very dangerous storm. Hopefully, it has weakened enough that it no longer has a tornado on the ground, because if you're talking about a tornado moving right along I-95 at about 7 o'clock at night, there are going to be many people in harm's way that may be out on the roadway right now and cannot get to a safe place. If you're in a car driving during a tornado, the best thing to do, if you have the time and it's not flooding, is to get off the road and possibly get down into a ditch or get out of the car. What I would say to do in a flooding situation is pull off the side of the road and just try to get as low as possible and cover your head. You don't want to be under an overpass. Sometimes that can cause winds to accelerate throughout that overpass as the tornado comes through. But again, a car on the roads, not the place you want to be tonight at all. both because of the tornado threat and certainly because of the flash flooding threat, there is a very good chance that you get stranded on the roads wherever you may be. So here's that picture of the Ben Franklin Bridge from the other side of the river in New Jersey, looking toward the city. It has started to clear up at least a little bit. At least we can see the city, the rain not coming down quite as heavily as it was just a few moments ago. But again, we are still under an active tornado warning. You see there in the small box on the left side of your screen, and that goes until 7:15. And Lauren, you were talking earlier about the cycling. It looks like if we look at the shear track, it looks like this storm may have strengthened, weakened, strengthened again as it moved from Gloucester and Camden counties up north now into Burlington County.
Yeah, absolutely. The last extension of that tornado warning by the National Weather Service, their language was not as strong. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was over Palmyra. That's of 6:49, so about 5-6 minutes ago. But again, as you were mentioning and how we've talked about, these supercell thunderstorms or these rotating thunderstorms will cycle, meaning they drop a tornado, it comes back up, they drop a tornado, or it'll go through periods of, stronger rotation and weaker rotation. Now, to me, it does look like the rotation did go through a weaker period, and now it is starting to re-intensify right around the Cinnaminson, Riverside, Delanco area. Upwind would be Burlington Township, Croydon, Bensalem. It does appear as though it's trying to, again, reorganize itself and then potentially could drop that tornado back on the ground. We already had that confirmed large tornado that went through Gloucester County that did damage. Also in the Winona area, we had a funnel cloud spotted. Could have potentially been a tornado on the ground, dependent upon the point of view of the videographer, but possible tornado, multiple trees downed in the Gloucester County area as well. This is that same cell, and the same cell that we saw the video of those intense winds in Washington Township. So this tornado warning that is ongoing right now. Now, that is ongoing right now for portions of Burlington, Camden, Bucks, and Philadelphia counties until 7:15. That is the same tornado warning that did produce that large and extremely dangerous tornado. And so we want to act in accordance. So if you're in that tornado warning, you still need to be in your safe place right now, because at any moment we could see this cell recycle and put that tornado right back on the ground. And that is a big concern. In addition to the tornado threat, we also have the concern for damaging winds in excess of 75 miles per hour. That is hurricane force. Now, Kate's showing us we do have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for portions of Delaware. At this point, I'll take a severe thunderstorm warning, but we have to treat these very seriously as well, because they can produce winds of 60, 70 plus miles per hour, which will also do property damage. So I think we have some video right now. This is of the Winona area in Gloucester County. Wow. Yeah. You can see the downed trees looking like significant tree damage.
And we did just get a report from the National Weather Service in Cherry Hill, multiple trees and wires down around Cherry Hill with a possible tornado as well.
Yeah.
It definitely looks
Uprooted
like
trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that, numerous trees and limbs down in that area with that potential tornado that went through.
Yeah, and that's why when we see this video, that's why we are so emphatic that you need to seek safe shelter, protect yourself, protect your family members, because that's going to be the big concern with these tornadoes coming through, that they pull down trees, they pull down wires, and that could impact your home. That could compromise the structure of your home. Also, we've had a report with this particular cell that the tornado itself was so intense that the winds itself did damage to the structure, and there was a report of multiple people trapped. So Kate is circling right now. This is our velocity. This is an application where we can actually take a look at the direction of the winds. Now, we don't want to see green and red going together. We want the winds to be going in one direction. When winds are starting to go in two different directions in a small localized place, that means we have rotation. So we still do have rotation. This is a rotating thunderstorm, and it does have the potential to put that tornado. This is the same cell that already did significant damage in parts of Gloucester County. We saw some of that video from Winona of all of the significant tree damage. Now is not the time to be hitting the roads, especially especially in combination and conjunction with the flash flood threat that is ongoing across much of Pennsylvania. We've been dealing with rain that has been falling across PA, north of I-95 for the duration of the day, and that rainfall has been very intense. We've had rainfall rates of up to 2, even 3. We start to see trees downed very easily, trees uprooted very easily because the soil is so overly saturated. So that's another concern and that we have with this severe weather going through portions of the area. So our active tornado warning right now, Bucks, Burlington, Philadelphia County until 7:15. This is going to be our strongest portion of the storm, as Kate was showing us right along, unfortunately, I-95. Now getting a look at Center City, Philadelphia, the Spring Garden area. Looks like things are pretty quiet at the moment. There was some big concern about 30 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago, when we went under that tornado warning. This tornado warning, that cell moved to the east of Center City, Philadelphia. Now the concern is focused on its current location in and around the Bensalem, Bristol area. If you're in these areas, we're seeing rotation on radar, and this cell may again be cycling and putting down that tornado on the ground. So we need to seek safe shelter. Very dangerous situation, multiple hazards in effect with the remnants of Hurricane Ida building through the area. We still have a tornado watch in effect for the entire area for a good cause until 10 p.m. So we have 3 more hours for this tornadic threat. And then as we head into the overnight period, a lot of this rain will start to wrap up, especially as we push past midnight, and then we'll start to calm things down, but we'll have to continue to worry about the potential of river, stream, and creek flooding tomorrow, because a lot of these waterways aren't going to crest until that time frame. So, and we're already seeing rivers and streams overflowing their banks as we speak right now. So really, we're still going to have to be careful on the roads, even into the day tomorrow, Kate, when the sun is going to be shining and we'll want to get out and about, especially after all of our active weather that we're seeing right now. There is that area of rotation, looks like right around Edgewater Park. What are you thinking about this particular cell, Kate?
Well, we just heard from the National Weather Service, and we were kind of saying the same thing as you were talking about, Lauren, earlier with the cycling of this cell. They are saying the rotation is now increasing again, likely a new tornado forming in the area near Edgewater Park and Willingboro. You can see that right there as we look at our velocity. This is what, again, this is what we call a couplet. And we call it a couplet because there's a couple of different colors on the radar picture there, basically showing different differential velocity, basically winds blowing in different directions away from and towards a radar site. And you can see this is moving toward the Croydon area, through the Croydon area right now, up toward Burlington, Bristol, next in line for this as well. We hear the word Croydon, we think about the devastating flooding that happened earlier this summer in the Croydon area. Now a possible new tornado developing in that area right now with the rotation signature increasing. Right now we have 1 active tornado warning, I believe only 1 for our area. Only 1 is 1 too many, though. This is moving through portions of lower Bucks County and Burlington County right now, and likely a new rotation signature developing. And it looks very nasty right now as it moves right through Burlington, Croydon, Bristol next in line. If you're in Bristol, there is a very good chance that a tornado will be on the ground moving right through Bristol within the next 3 minutes, 5 minutes. It's likely on the ground right now. So if you're in Bristol, get to your basement, get to your closet, get to an interior room. Again, this is not a drill. This has history of producing a large, significant, damaging tornado, and it looks as though that rotation is cycling back again and redeveloping right around Edgewater Park. It's likely moving through Burlington right now. It's likely riding right along 413 and about to shift up toward I-95. So this is headed for Bristol next, and then moving through I-95. And again, it looks to have a very significant rotation signature with it. I believe this is that the same one, or this is further south? I'm looking at this. What we're looking at here is a correlation coefficient to see if there's any debris being reported. It looks like there may be some up in Mercer County, but nothing showing up just yet with the potential tornado on the ground near Croydon, Bensalem, Burlington right now, and headed for Bristol next. So this is kind of, you can see the big picture here. This is a secondary line of storms. The first one up toward Trenton, moving out. Now we have another line of storms extending from Bucks County into the city of Philadelphia, almost joining forces with the tornado the likely tornado that is on the ground right now, right here. Again, you can see that rotation signature just about to push through Bristol and just likely to move over I-95. So listen to this warning. Oh my, this is 7:04 just now. Observed tornado, catastrophic damage threat for Burlington, Mercer, and Bucks County until 7:30 tonight. At 7:02 p.m., a confirmed large and destructive tornado was observed over Beverly. This is 12 miles southwest of Trenton, so this was the area that we were looking at to the north, near Trenton, and this was a large catastrophic tornado. I believe this is the one they're talking about here, 12 miles southwest of Trenton, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Tornado damage threat listed as catastrophic with this cell moving through. And again, that was about 2 minutes ago as that storm starts to push toward Bristol and eventually up toward Trenton. A large destructive tornado on the ground right now, and a new warning has just been issued for that cell. Let's set this, we'll pause this for you and you can see where this is. About to roll across, right now impacting Bristol probably as we speak.
It looks like it's moving right over Bristol. I mean, it's just incredible. This is a very serious, life-threatening situation. There is very strong rotation, winds in excess of 100 miles per hour at minimum, a very tight couplet. And we were just talking about how quickly things can change, even over the last couple of minutes, just how fast this cell intensified, and now an observed, dangerous, catastrophic tornado on the ground moving through the Bristol area, upwind, Tullytown, Levittown, Florence. Also seeing indications, as we were talking about earlier, now seeing some more lightning strikes coming in and around with the cell. That is indication that it will likely put a tornado on the ground soon if it's not already occurring. And I think this latest tornado warning, as Kate read off to you, it is in fact an observed tornado moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. Let's see. We'll read this is a tornado emergency. A tornado emergency
oh, wow.
for Bristol, Croydon, and Burlington. It's a particularly dangerous situation. Take cover now. Confirmed large and destructive tornado observed over Beverly at 7:02, 12 miles southwest of Trenton, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Again, with this tornado, you are in a life-threatening situation. Flying debris can be deadly. Mobile homes will be destroyed. Considerable damage to your home, business, or vehicle is likely. Complete destruction is possible, Kate.
Complete destruction, catastrophic damage threat with this tornado, a large destructive tornado on the ground near Beverly. It has now shifted slightly further to the north. Levittown next in line, Tullytown as well within the next 5 minutes. If you're in Levittown, get the family together, get to the basement. This is not a radar confirmed tornado. This is not a radar indicated tornado. This is a confirmed spotted large destructive tornado on the ground with catastrophic damage potential happening right now. You need to get your family and yourself to a safe place until the threat passes. If you're in any of these towns, Levittown, Morrisville, Trenton, Hamilton, Lawrence, Edinburgh, eventually, if you're in Trenton, if you're in Lawrence, you've got about a 10-minute heads up. If you're in Levittown, if you're in Tullytown, this is happening right now. This is moving into your area right now, and this is life-threatening. This is destructive to buildings. This could tear your roof off. This could blow your windows out. This could drop a giant tree onto your home. Very dangerous situation happening right now in our eastern suburbs, the eastern suburbs of Philadelphia, northeast of Philadelphia, Croydon, Bristol, Bensalem, now shifting up toward Levittown, Trenton, and Lawrence as well. There's that debris signature. You can see it's shifting very quickly to the north. It's over Bristol right now, moving quickly to the north as it moves up toward Levittown and eventually into Mercer County, New Jersey. An active tornado warning currently in effect for this area. And again, some language that we don't hear very often from the National Weather Service. A large destructive tornado on the ground, catastrophic damage possible as this tornado moves through. This is a look at I-95 in Bristol. This is just before you get to the turnpike. We were looking to see if you could see any sort of wind, any sort of damage here. You can see the camera is blowing side to side. This is an area where this storm likely has either just passed through or is passing through right now. It is incredibly windy. It is heartening to me that there are not very many people on the road right now, because this is an area that is in this particularly dangerous situation, tornado warning, a PDS warning. You can see from the shear track how this tornado has redeveloped there near Edgewater Park, near Willingboro, Burlington, likely with a touchdown. You can see that area of enhancement right here near Bristol, right along Route 13 or 413, right around the junction there. So very likely redeveloped right here, where we saw the rotation signature start to get a bit more severe. Very likely a tornado touchdown near Bristol, and it may still be on the ground, headed next for Florence, Levittown, Tullytown, Wheatsheaf, and eventually up toward Trenton, Bordentown as well. It may impact your area depending on the exact movement. It looks like it's been moving more northeast, so basically if you're along Route 13, 32, and right up toward Trenton, anywhere between Bristol and Trenton, you are in line for this large, potentially catastrophic tornado, which is on the ground. There's a new shear track that just registered on the radar, moving north of Bristol now. And look at this, the colors here, a very clear indication that this tornado is happening as we speak. Damage level, catastrophic. National Weather Service, in their words, you are in a life-threatening situation if you are in this tornado warning. And here's that storm just shifting up toward the Trenton area right here over Lower Bucks. This area just has been hit over and over and over this summer, from Bensalem, Croydon, right up toward through the Lower Bucks area in general, Lower Makefield, Levittown. This is the storm we're watching. Right about here is probably the worst of it right now, about to push toward Trenton. Lots of lightning with it as well, and very likely a large destructive tornado currently on the ground over Lower Bucks County. If you're in this area, once again, recapping what you need to do. Move to a basement, interior room. If you don't have a basement, a powder room, a coat closet is a good place to go, or away from windows, because not only can flying debris come through your window, but also, and Lauren had this tip earlier, you may want to put on a helmet if you're in this area. And I know it may seem like a silly thing to do, but make it a game with the kids. Put on the bike helmets, because not only can you be injured by flying debris, but you can be injured if a tornado damages your house, damages your roof, and those beams fall. That can lead to a life-threatening situation or serious injury. And if you protect your head, you have a better chance of surviving if that were to happen. Again, this is not language we use very often around here, although it's becoming more and more evident that severe weather is becoming more severe in our region. This is several PDS tornado warnings in one day, several tornado events in one summer. You need to have a plan, and you need to take this seriously and know what to do if a tornado comes through your area. And right now it is happening currently. Lower Bucks up into Mercer County, an active tornado warning until 7:30 tonight. You can see all the lightning with this as well. It's moving Florence, Tullytown, Levittown, right up toward Trenton, and then moving into northern New Jersey. This is the same cell that moved through Gloucester County, Mullica Hill, Mantua, Gloucester City, with a very likely large, devastating tornado on the ground. Now that tornado is pushing further to the north and east and has likely cycled and touched down once again. This is Oxford Valley Road, Route 1 in Bucks County, and you can see the visibility is incredibly poor. There is flooding on the roads. It is starting to get dark now. It's even darker because of the ominous clouds overhead, so you will not see this tornado coming if you're in this area. You need to be off the roads and be in a safe space. It looks like everyone has their flashers on, just trying to hopefully get home and get to their safe space right now. The worst of the rain, the worst of the storms moving through the greater Philadelphia area as we speak, and the most dangerous part of it is this active tornado warning in effect for Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties until 7:30 tonight, with a large destructive tornado either on the ground or has just been on the ground right here along Route 13 between Bristol and Levittown within the past 5 minutes. Again, if you're in Levittown, if you're in Trenton, these are the areas where you need to be in a safe space, away from windows, interior room or basement. And again, there's some indication that there has been some damage and some shear even off to the west in Middletown, Homeville, places like that. So right along the western edge of that tornado warning, even though the greatest rotation appears to be to the south, there may be rotation further to the north and west as well. So if you're in that entire red box, this one right here, you can see still a threat further south, but I do believe this will be allowed to expire. It's now shifting into this red shaded area, our most active tornado warning right now, which encompasses the Trenton area and eventually shifting up into northern New Jersey once we get past 7:30. This is in effect for another 15 minutes or so. And you can see just the shear tracks. Lauren, we've been talking about that all day. The shear tracks all over the region. It looks like many areas will have to go back and assess for damage because several possible tornado touchdowns today.
Absolutely. That particular cell that we're tracking right now, this tornado warning, which the National Weather Service, Kate, has extended, this PDS, or particularly dangerous situation tornado warning, continues for central Mercer, north central Burlington, and southeastern Bucks County. At 7:12, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over Tullytown or near Trenton, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So this is a confirmed tornado by a National Weather Service employee. Again, a life-threatening situation, and we can see on our shear tracks there the lifetime of that tornado or that tornadic cell, tracking all the way through New Jersey and now moving through a little portion of Bucks County, Mercer County, and Burlington County right now. The lifetime of this supercell thunderstorm, just extraordinary, and that's the big danger and concern with these type of thunderstorms that we had the recipe for today in our atmosphere. Sometimes we'll have a recipe and it won't come to fruition. Sometimes we'll have a recipe and it does come to fruition. And like we've seen here, we had high levels of shear, particularly high for our region, for the Delaware and Lehigh valleys. We combine that with some instability, particularly over South Jersey in our PA, southwestern PA suburbs and portions of Delaware. And that's primarily where we have seen the bulk of the tornadic activity, though we're seeing this cell right now in Mercer, Bucks, and northern Burlington counties. But the recipe, the atmosphere was just amped to potentially produce tornadic cells, and that's what we've been seeing all afternoon and now continuing into the evening hours. Hopefully the sun setting is going to give us a little help in helping to stabilize the atmosphere. We want that. We want to lose the heating of the day. That will trend for storms to weaken. Storms, they feed on heat. That's their fuel. We have an immense amount of moisture provided by the remnants of Hurricane Ida, and that's what we're dealing with as it moves through the region. This now our fourth remnant of a tropical system traversing the area, all of which have produced tornadoes across our region. Now we are down to one tornado warning, and it is concentrated right now. You can see that rotation that Kate is pulling up and circling. Looks like it's just west of Trenton, Kate.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, cell moving off to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. Again, the National Weather Service saying this is an extremely dangerous tornado that is on the ground and that you are in a life-threatening situation.
So if you're in Morrisville, that's where it's headed next. If you're in Trenton, I mean, this is likely moving right through the city of Trenton right now, which of course is a very populated area. If you're in Morrisville, if you're in Braeburn Heights, if you're in Bakersville, if you're in Starwood Hamlet, any of these areas just north and east of Trenton, that's where this cell is headed next. We do not have any other active tornado warnings in our area, which is good news. The problem is we have plenty of flash flood warnings. We have severe thunderstorm warnings still in effect across portions of Delaware as well. But right now, this is a large, dangerous tornado with catastrophic damage potential moving right through the Trenton area, headed toward Morrisville, right along 206, and then lifting up along 295 as well. So again, future weather, let's take a look at what we can expect through the next couple of hours, because you may be wondering, when are we going to be done with this? This has been going on all afternoon. When does it end? Well, the band of heavy thunderstorms will likely clear the coast by about 10 o'clock, and then the heaviest rain will start to move out of the city after midnight and likely be offshore by around 2 a.m. Behind this system, much better weather is on the way. However, take a look at how much rain has already fallen. And again, we don't mean to ignore the flash flood threat, but when we have active tornado warnings, that is definitely a more life-threatening situation. But let's talk about how much rain we've seen just in the past 6 hours over portions of Bucks, Montgomery counties, the Lehigh Valley, Delaware County, Chester County. Many spots are in this 5 to 10 inch range. So there is flash flooding ongoing. Roads are closed. People cannot get to where they need to go. And then tomorrow, once the flash flood threat is over, flash flooding, of course, happens during the actual event. Flood warnings happen afterwards. That's when our smaller creeks, streams, and rivers start to breach their banks. Flash flood watch is in effect until 8 a.m. But look at all these flash flood warnings. all this rain, 6 to 8 inches of rain likely has fallen in many of these spots right now. Flooding is ongoing. You do not want to be on the roads if you can avoid it. This will continue throughout the night, and many, if not all, of our larger creeks, streams, and rivers are under flood warnings. The Schuylkill River at 30th Street, major flooding is likely. The forecasted crest is 15.2 feet. When you get to 15 feet, Locust Street is going to flood. First floor on Locust Street will have inundation. The Schuylkill River Trail will flood. The road under 30th Street will flood. And also, we could see water up to the railings of the Schuylkill River Trail. That's how high this flooding crest, this forecast crest, is expected to be along the Schuylkill River at 30th Street in Philadelphia. And again, that's not until tomorrow afternoon. So we're going to be dealing with the impacts of this flooding right through the day tomorrow. So again, right now we have a number of flash flood warnings. We have several severe thunderstorm warnings south of Dover, but again, the most dangerous situation right now is the tornado warning, which remains in effect for portions of Mercer County, New Jersey. There's a severe thunderstorm warning with that as well, encompassing the entire area, Mercer, Middlesex, and Somerset counties. We're looking at Princeton, New Jersey right now, where this cell is headed, and you can see right along Route 1, massive amounts of flooding. Cars are going through pretty quickly, but it looks like midnight outside. The sun is not even completely, dusk is not completely over yet, but it looks pitch black out there as these storms move through. Again, a number of flash flooding concerns, and also the tornado warning still in effect for portions of Mercer County. There it is right there. Mercer County and extreme eastern, southeastern Bucks County in effect until 7:30 tonight. So for the next 10 minutes. A little bit of good news, possibly, is that they have extended a severe thunderstorm warning around where this cell is headed. Instead of issuing a new tornado warning as this cell moves north up into portions of Middlesex County, it's a severe thunderstorm warning. That tells me oftentimes when you see that the National Weather Service does see some weakening in that cell, weakening at least of the tornadic impacts, while a severe thunderstorm warning will still be issued. But right now, this is our last tornado warning. I don't want to say last. It's our only current tornado warning. That doesn't mean we can't get another one before the night is through, but it is heavy downpours right now, frequent lightning and flash flooding that is posing the biggest risk, at least around the city of Philadelphia as we speak, as the rain continues to fall. Here's 422 East. In King of Prussia, this is the mobile weather watcher moving through King of Prussia, which got hit by very heavy rain earlier today. The heaviest has now shifted east of there, and hopefully we'll see moderate but not quite as heavy rainfall as the back edge of Ida wraps up later on this evening. But Lauren, this has been quite a day of active flash flood warnings and tornado warnings, and we're still several hours away from the end of this event.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some new video in from a viewer in Burlington City of a funnel cloud forming. Oh, we don't have that video yet, apparently. We will have that video at some point, but I was looking through some video on social media of the Mullica Hill damage, and it's really, Kate, it's just incredible. There are homes that have sustained significant damage, damage that I wouldn't typically expect to see in the Delaware Valley. So serious situation has unfolded here across the Delaware Valley this afternoon. We still have one tornado warning in effect, and we continue to have the threat for tornadoes as we proceed into this evening. Our tornado watch is still in effect until 10 o'clock. So we still have about 2.5 more hours. Hopefully the atmosphere has been worked over by the activity that we have seen traversing the area over the last several hours. But of course, our hearts go out to families and the people, the viewers who have homes have been impacted by this tornadic activity that has been traversing the area in association with the remnants of Hurricane Ida.
And Lauren, we talked earlier about the tornado that went through Mullica Hill, and we've just heard from our colleague here at CBS3, John Schumacher, that Clearview Middle School in that area has been designated as a shelter for families in the Mullica Hill area that may need safe shelter tonight. We heard that people had to be rescued from collapsed structures. That's just an indication of how devastating the damage was and continues to be with the large destructive tornado that went through Mullica Hill earlier today. So if you need a safe place to go, if you know of anyone, any neighbors, any friends that have had their homes destroyed, cannot go back tonight, Clearview Middle School has been designated the shelter for families in Mullica Hill, New Jersey. And again, more unprecedented events here. This is not something we see often, homes destroyed by tornadoes, people needing to take safe shelter. But of course, the community always coming together and helping folks that may need some help getting safe. We now have another tornado warning. However, this is not over yet. This is a new tornado warning that has just been issued for Bucks County. Tornado warning until 7:45. This is just north of Warminster. Warminster, including Warminster, Buckingham, Ivyland, Upper Makefield, New Hope, Newtown, Grant, a new tornado warning until 7:45 tonight for portions of Bucks, Hunterdon, and Mercer counties. So again, just as we start to see things weakening a bit and thinking, okay, maybe the tornado threat is starting to wane for at least the time being, now we see a new potential shear track. There's the first one that went through. Now a new one has developed near Warminster. Again, these are the same areas getting hit over and over and over again by not only severe storms, not only the threat for tornadoes, but flooding, downpours, more inches upon inches of rain. 2-3 inches per hour of rain coming down with these storms, and we have yet another tornado warning right now. This is the Schuylkill Expressway. This is not what the Schuylkill Expressway usually looks like at this time of night. This is around Gulf Mills, and you can see the road is almost completely impassable. The traffic being diverted to the shoulder there. This is a very narrow section of the roadway there in basically around Villanova, around Conshohocken. And it is very dangerous to be out on that road right now because the floodwaters are deep, especially near the median, everything being pushed to the side. This is what you're going to find on many local and side and back roads across the region today. Flooded out roads, impassable roads, and now again, the threat for yet another tornado as we track that for you here on Storm Scan 3. If we could go back to the storm track, showing which areas are in line next for this latest tornado, this latest possible tornado warning here over Bucks County. Traymore, next in line here, 728, Grenoble, Rushland by about 729, 731 in Little Italy, Penns Park by 732, and then Wrightstown by 733. So this is just taking you out for the next 5 minutes or so as this cell moves to the north and east over Bucks County. The same areas that were already hit by another potential tornado, and we still have an active tornado warning for Mercer County, as that cell has just shifted north of Trenton. You can see this is the past track. So this basically shows where it has already gone. Where it is headed next would be Lawrence, possibly Ewing. Ewing also in that potential shear track over here, crossing 295. Here's the new tornado, the new potential tornado over Bucks County that now has another active tornado warning. This is just over Bucks County. And again, you can see it's almost two lines. The first one has shifted to the north and east with the tornado near Trenton, but now we have another line of very intense storms extending from upper Bucks right through Philadelphia and down into Camden and Gloucester counties. There are more cells back here in Chester County, still with heavy downpours near Euclid Township. No tornado warnings currently, but heavy rainfall falling on an area that has already likely seen 4-5+ inches of rain. And you can see the back edge of this is still not even through portions of Lancaster or Berks County. The heaviest downpours likely with these storms coming through right now. But the edge of this, the back edge of this, will not be through for likely the next 5+ hours. That means more rain falling on areas that are already experiencing severe flooding. So 2 active tornado warnings, one until 7:30 around Trenton, one until 7:45 for central Bucks County, moving up into portions of northern New Jersey into Hunterdon County as well. Philadelphia right now, we're still seeing some rain, but it's not as heavy as it was. We do have heavy storms back into Chester County and one line of heavy thunderstorms crossing Camden County as we speak, but no active tornado warnings with that line of storms. This one right here in Bucks County, though, under an active tornado warning until 7:45. What you're seeing here are our current active warnings. So the dark red, those are flash flood warnings. That means flash flooding is happening, either water rescues, roads flooded out. Flooding is occurring. Chester County, all of Delaware County, northern Newcastle County, Montgomery, Bucks, and the Lehigh Valley, all under flash flood warnings. 2 active tornado warnings, one for the city of Trenton and much of Mercer County, another one from central Bucks about Warrington, right on up into eastern, I should say western Mercer County and southern Hunterdon County, and that goes until 7:45 tonight. This already has been scaled back. This is moving pretty quickly, so the cell now moving up north of Willingboro, north of Warminster, I should say, not Willingboro, and now we're starting to see that potential tornado in Trenton has a new tornado warning as it moves up into northern New Jersey and toward New York City. We have some live video here for you. Jeremy, if you can tell me that again, where we're looking at. This is Route 295 in Mercerville. This is an area that is under an active tornado warning right now. It looks pitch black outside. Now, of course, it is dusk already, so this is not just based on the thunderstorm clouds, but it does look very ominous out there. The wind is blowing. The roads are passable. It looks like an elevated roadway there. However, it is a very dangerous place to be right now with an active tornado warning in effect, and that has now been extended and expanded into much of northern New Jersey through about 8 o'clock tonight. We also have an active tornado warning for Bucks County right here. This is Newtown Grant, again, Newtown, Upper Makefield, areas that we've already called out your name earlier today. You don't need another line of storms. Unfortunately, the same area getting hit once again. You can see this potential shear track here down toward Warminster, and this is moving to the north and east once again, I believe at about 40 miles per hour. Lauren, is that correct? If you can give us some stats on this latest potential tornado in Bucks County.
Yes, that is moving northeast at 30 miles per hour, so a little bit slower than they had been previously moving. This is radar indicated, so there is indications on radar of rotation. No observed tornado, but of course we always have to treat it as such, especially today when these cells have been putting down tornadoes. They have been cycling, so producing a tornado, then kind of weakening a bit, re-strengthening, putting down another tornado, going over tens, even 50 miles. These supercell thunderstorms tracking over a large portion of the area, and that continues at this hour with this particular cell now focused in on the rotation that the National Weather Service is seeing right now over Bucks County. Looks like central Bucks County moving off to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Of course, as Kate was mentioning, we have multiple flash flood warnings in effect across really the entirety of Pennsylvania, save for Berks County at this moment. Also northern Wilmington, or northern Delaware, excuse me, including Wilmington, under a flash flood warning as well. But our primary focus has been these tornado warnings that have been ongoing throughout the afternoon and evening. Our latest one in effect for Bucks and Mercer counties until 7:45. So Kate's trying to pick up on some rotation on our velocity feed here. It does seem as though that the rotation is fairly broad with this particular cell, but that doesn't mean, as we saw just 20 minutes ago, how quickly that rotation can tighten up and become very intense and drop down another strong tornado. So we really need to stay on guard as we had certainly while your tornado warning is in effect, and even over the next several hours as we have the tornado watch in effect for the entirety of the area until 10 p.m. tonight. Again, as I mentioned a little bit ago, hopefully sunset will help us out a bit in stabilizing the atmosphere. So hopefully these storms will trend to weaken, but just a ton of atmospheric energy, both at the surface and the upper levels of the atmosphere in association with the remnants of Hurricane Ida as it comes through our area. So again, the tornadic threat continues as we head until 10 o'clock tonight, when that tornado watch will hopefully expire. And then we have the threat for flash flooding that's going to endure throughout the overnight period and potentially into tomorrow, as well as some of our waterways then start to crest. After all of the rainfall we have seen, the tornadoes are taking precedence over the flash flooding, but that also, of course, a very dangerous situation. And we've seen reports across the area, particularly in PA, of water rescues. We do not want that situation. So if you are under a flash flood warning, please stay off the roads unless completely necessary until that flash flood warning for your portion of your county expires, Kate. We don't want to see any more water rescues reported. It is a very dangerous situation, but of course the tornado warnings taking precedence, and sadly we've seen considerable damage across parts of the area, particularly in the Mullica Hill area in New Jersey.
That's right. And once again, if you missed it earlier, if you know anyone or you need shelter, if your home was damaged or destroyed by that tornado, Clearview Middle School is where they are sending people that need shelter in the Mullica Hill area. Again, 2 active tornado warnings in effect right now across our region. One just shifting up near Princeton. We have a number of reports of water rescues going on in Mercer County right now. now. This is from that same cell with the tornado moving through the area. This video just in from a viewer in the Burlington City area, what looks like a funnel cloud starting to form or possibly extending toward the ground. Look at that in the background there. Looks like a possible tornado or at least a funnel cloud forming in the Burlington City area. And again, that was that same cell that moved through Mullica Hill, Mantua, Gloucester, and then started to redevelop up near Burlington. That to me looks like a very possible tornado on the ground, although we can't see the bottom of it. That to me looks like a tornado, yeah. Again, we never want to call it from a video if you can't see it actually touching the ground with a debris cloud, but that to me looks like a tornado on the ground. That is just amazing, staggering video to see in our area of that tornado near Burlington City, and that is likely where it reformed and re-strengthened near Delran, then near Bristol, Levittown, and again, we'll have to wait for the damage reports from the National Weather Service in Mount Holly. Very likely tomorrow they'll send crews out and see what the damage looks like. They'll go through the damage tracks and see just how many tornadoes touched down. I think we have another video to show you. This just in, a possible tornado recorded by Ryan Thoden. This is from Mullica Hill, New Jersey. And look at that in the background. Cars are pulled off the side of the road. You see something like that, that is a nightmare. That is the real thing. A large wedge-shaped tornado. This looks very similar to the video we got from our own Tommy Gardner just a bit ago. Again, a large, likely web-shaped tornado on the ground. You can see in the clouds the rotation in the clouds and the tornado extending down toward the ground. I'm doing my hand motions even though I don't have that video behind me, but you can see what I'm referring to. You can see the rotation in the cloud field and those clouds extending toward the ground. Very, very scary situation, I'm sure, for those folks that were off to the side of the road. And thank you, Ryan, for providing us with that video. This has been an unprecedented day across our region. Of course, we just had July 29th, 10 tornadoes in one day. But when you couple the tornadoes that we've had today with the extensive, devastating flash flooding that is ongoing in our area, that is something we didn't have with the July 29th event. We've had flash flooding, we've had tornadoes. Today feels like we're capping off what has been a devastating summer of weather. We are capping it off with the remnants of Ida, producing devastating flash flooding as well as devastating catastrophic tornadoes. This, again, not something we see, a very rare, unprecedented likely event for our area, and we still have 2 active tornado warnings in effect right now, 1 in Bucks County, shifting up toward Hunterdon County, and 1 just moving north of Princeton. 2 active tornado warnings. Actually, they did just cancel the 1 in Bucks County. It looks like they canceled that one early as the rotation seems to have weakened, hopefully, for that particular cell. Is that correct, Lauren?
Yeah, that's correct. That warning has been allowed to expire. So it looks like, at least at this moment, we do have that tornado warning in effect for a portion of Mercer County. Other than that, after a period of many hours, it appears that our area is tornado warning free.
That is a good thing to hear. Just the one for northern Mercer County. That cell has started to shift out of Mercer County up into northern New Jersey. A number of flash flood warnings in effect. Currently, no active tornado warnings in our immediate area. Let's take a look at another traffic camera. This is a photo, actually, I think we have of a cloud about to form a possible tornado. This is at I-295. I'm trying to see what we're looking at here. It looks like that a large, maybe a shelf cloud or a wall cloud with some rotation was caught on video. It's hard to see in a still photo. But this is at I-295 at Bakers Basin Road, and this is in Lawrence Township in Mercer County where that cell has just gone through. So because it's dusk, it's tough to see, but there very likely was a tornado that went right through that area. So severe thunderstorm warning still in effect for Mercer, Middlesex, Morris, and Somerset counties. The greatest severe weather threat seems to be shifting now into northern New Jersey and away from our area. However, you still can't rule out any one of these cells moving through Philadelphia, moving through Chester County, moving through Delaware. There's one strong storm down in Kent County, Delaware, which is currently severe warned. But as of now, no active tornado warnings. We do have an active warning for Mercer County, but it appears that the threat has shifted to the north and east of Mercer County up toward portions of Middlesex and Morris County, Somerset County as well, near New York City. So here's the big picture. If we zoom out all the way here to see where what we're dealing with, basically, we have a few active severe thunderstorm warnings down here over Delaware. We will have to watch to see if this cell starts to exhibit some rotation. It looks like it may be trying to develop a bit of a hook. We also have a number of heavy thunderstorms moving through Chester County, Bucks County, and into Montgomery County as well as the city of Philadelphia. The heavy rain is ongoing. If there's any good news, again, the threat for a tornado has started to shift out of our immediate area, and the heaviest downpours right now are over Bucks County, and those are shifting north as well. We do have still some heavy embedded downpours here over Chester County, Berks County, and Montgomery County, but we're starting to see the rain break up at least a little bit on the western edge of this. So very probably the worst of this, now that the sun is down, the worst of the severe threat is over. It's not completely over. The worst of it is over, but we still are under a tornado watch until 10 p.m. We're still under a flash flood watch until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then we'll have multiple flood warnings for different waterways in our area, like the Schuylkill River, like some of the smaller creeks and streams that may experience moderate, if not major flooding. This is going to be one of those events where we've been in it for the past 4 hours, basically nonstop, wall-to-wall coverage with this event. And then we're going to have to go back and regroup how much rain actually fell, how much damage has actually been done, how many roads are actually closed, how many water rescues were spurred by this event, and how much damage will we discover in the wake of the remnants of Ida from these large destructive tornadoes that were spawned by this system. This is going to be one where we have to go back and basically reassess the event on the back edge of it and see exactly the extent of the damage that this system caused. It has been a very dangerous afternoon. But again, the worst of the thunderstorms, the worst of the severe weather now shifting to the north and east. We're still dealing with some heavy storms, still dealing with heavy downpours and flash flood warnings. But we can start to see, possibly within the next several hours, the end of the heaviest rainfall, at least associated with Ida. You can see, though, we still have a number of flash flood warnings in effect for Philadelphia County, for Montgomery County, Bucks County, Chester, Delaware, and still a few heavy thunderstorms rolling through the area as well. But right now, the worst of it is shifting up into northern New Jersey, where an active tornado may be on the ground north and west of Trenton. So let's go through and take a look at some of our active watches and our rain totals. I want to start with future weather. As we go through the next couple of hours, again, you can see the worst is going to shift out probably by 10 or 11 o'clock. This is 11:15 tonight. We'll be on the air with you here on CBS3. And again, you can see the heaviest downpours, the heaviest thunderstorms have shifted out of the area by that point. The rain is breaking up on the back edge. After midnight, by 2 a.m., this is pretty much out of here, which is great news. And then, of course, we have to reconvene, see the damage that was caused, and also deal with the potential cresting of some of our rivers and streams. Rainfall totals in the past 6 hours, again, have been significant. Portions of Bucks County, Montgomery County, Chester, Delaware, even Philadelphia County have picked up over 5 inches of rain. So far, though, this storm has pretty much behaved as expected. We talked yesterday about how the heaviest rainfall would be north and west of the city. South and east, not very much rain has fallen at all, but that is, of course, where we had the devastating thunderstorms and tornadoes, at least across portions of Gloucester County and down into Delaware as well. So the worst of the rain north and west, worst of the severe weather south and east. The system is on track. It's behaving as expected. It's on time. It's moving through as we expected it to. Flash flood watch goes until 8 a.m. Flash flood warnings blanket the entire region from basically Chester County on east to Philadelphia County, Montgomery, Bucks, and the Lehigh Valley. Flood warnings are in effect for most of that's what you're seeing here. Flood warnings in effect for waterways. So the Schuylkill River, many of the creeks and streams, also urban areas throughout Berks County and into the Poconos. The Lehigh River also under a flood warning. The Schuylkill River will likely crest at 15.2 feet. That will be major flooding for the Schuylkill River. And we remain under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. Again, no active warnings. The threat for a tornado has shifted out of Mercer County, but we are still under a tornado watch. Warnings can develop at any time. So the threat is not over yet. But of course, the threat for flash flooding has never left us and is still ongoing at this hour, with incredibly heavy downpours still impacting the city and points just north and west, especially with the threat for flash flooding. So again, this is when we kind of take a break and regroup, okay? So we don't have any active tornado warnings. We do have several severe thunderstorm warnings off to the south near Dover. We'll have to watch this line here across South Jersey. But as Lauren said earlier, once the sun goes down, we start to lose some of the daytime heating. We start to stabilize the atmosphere a little bit. So the threat for tornadoes does tend to diminish at least slightly now that the sun is down. And now, of course, the bigger threat locally, Philadelphia and nearby suburbs, is the threat for flash flooding, which is ongoing and will continue through tonight. So here's some video for you. This is I-76 East, the Schuylkill Expressway near Conshohocken. It is not moving at all. We've seen many images from this road, many shots from this stretch of I-76, the Schuylkill Expressway. It is still coming down heavily in that area. A number of inches have already fallen, probably 4 or 5+ inches in the Conshohocken area, and you can see the traffic is nearly stopped, likely due to flooding further down along that roadway where cars are barely getting by. The flooding is ongoing and will continue through tonight as the rain continues to fall. So again, Lauren, we've seen a number of tornadoes on the ground, a number of tornado warnings. Those have since now moved out, but now we're dealing with the flood threat, which is ongoing through tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. And as you were mentioning, Kate, that flood threat will only likely continue to intensify as our local streams, creeks, and rivers start to approach flood stage, moderate flood stage, even major flood stage as predicted by some of our river forecasting. So we'll have to watch for that. These rivers likely aren't going to crest until we head into tomorrow morning, even tomorrow afternoon. So that's something that we're going to have to keep a focus on. This is a kind of a long duration event as we contend with the remnants of Hurricane Ida traversing through the area. And I know we've been talking about these tornado warnings. We've had observed large and dangerous tornadoes traverse the area. We've seen videos of that. And if I can bring in our Yuki Washington, he had a storm report from Mullica Hill where we've seen and heard about some of the most devastating damage of this event. Yuki.
Yeah, over Jackson and Jackson Road near Mullica Hill. Just got word on the email that buildings have collapsed and farm animals could be involved. It's a terrible situation over there, as the two of you so elated to just a few moments ago. And also, once again, Clearville Middle School, that's also being a shelter for those over in Mullica Hill who may need shelter and to take place over there. But it is absolutely, this all started, around 4, a little bit after 4 o'clock this afternoon, and has been nonstop. And our two meteorologists have said they've heard the word catastrophic.
Right.
And we have never heard that word in this area when it comes to activity like this. Well, they have it in their careers.
And potentially life-threatening.
Yeah, exactly.
And people just need to get out of that area. We are getting some footage now. Let's take a look at some of the damage in East Nottingham Township, Chester County. There was a tornado warning earlier in this area. Trees there are uprooted, roofs blown off along Slate Hill Drive. We are getting several reports of damage in this area.
My wife and daughter and I were upstairs. The rain came down, and my wife said, "I've never heard the weather like that. Should we go in the basement?" I said, "Yes." My daughter grabbed a couple of her stuffed animals, and we heard a giant bang. Her bedroom window came flying into her bedroom. We hightailed it to the basement. We heard a lot of banging. Daughter, wife upset. We said, "We're okay." I went upstairs and checked, and I looked across the street, and I saw all the damage, all the trees down. I'm like, holy smoke. So I went out, checked on my neighbors, and now I'm walking my dog.
They hightailed it to the basement, and that's what Kate and Lauren have been talking about. Take shelter. Put on the helmet if you have to. When you hear what's happening outside and noises like that, the National Weather Service will need to survey, of course, this area to make sure to see if a tornado touched down.
Yeah, this is a funnel cloud along Route 553 in Mantua Township, Gloucester County. Thanks to photojournalist Tommy Gardner for getting that video. Just incredible.
Can you imagine going on the road and seeing that?
Yeah.
And now some storm damage in Winona, Gloucester County. This is on Maple Street, I believe. We found numerous limbs and trees down, as well as down power lines. That is going to be an awful situation in the coming days, especially when it comes to the cleanup. Some people were already out and about taking a look at all the damage.
Now, if the storm has forced you out of your home in Philadelphia, the city's Office of Emergency Management has opened 2 reception centers.
Yeah, they're at West Philadelphia High School and Roxborough High School, and they will stay open throughout the storm activity that we have been having since what, 4 o'clock, Kate? About around that time or so, right?
Right around 4 o'clock, yeah, we saw the first tornado warning issued as we were in our 4 o'clock news, and from then on, we have been in extended coverage, wall-to-wall coverage of this event. We knew this was going to be bad, but of course, we just lived through our most record tornado day in history since records have been kept in Philadelphia on July 29. 10 tornadoes touched down, and you tend to think, well, we already had the worst of it. It can't get worse than that. Today, likely, very likely, worse than that. We are hopeful that we have not had any fatalities or injuries from this event, hopeful that everyone was in a safe space and was able to get out of those collapsed structures okay. We'll be waiting for reports to roll in as far as the extent of the damage from at least 2, if not many more, tornado touchdowns in our area today. But the risk for flash flooding does continue tonight, even as the tornado threat has started to diminish. So let's go ahead and take a look right now at our active radar. We're going to pull this up for you and see exactly what we're looking at right now. And right now we have a number of flash flood warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. We no longer have tornado warnings locally, which is good news. However, we still have to keep a close eye, especially on this area of storms down over Kent and Sussex counties under a severe thunderstorm warning until 8 p.m. tonight. You can see that moving through the Milford area just south of Dover, some very heavy storms. We also have storms moving through South Jersey, currently not warned, no severe thunderstorm warning even with these cells in portions of Cumberland and Atlantic counties, but still incredibly heavy rainfall. And that has now shifted to be the most dangerous part of this storm currently, as the tornado threat has diminished locally. Now the threat for flash flooding takes precedence. So right now we have an incredible number of flash flood warnings in effect for our area. Let's go ahead and take the radar and the lightning off, and we'll show you the active warnings that are currently in effect for us. We'll take off the shear tracks as well, and just basically seeing what we're looking at right now. We have a few severe thunderstorm warnings still in effect for our region, one for portions of lower Bucks and for Mercer counties, and again, the ones we just talked about for extreme southern Delaware. But what you see with all these burgundy colored areas, that is flash flooding, and that means flash flooding is ongoing and occurring right now in much of our area. We have some for Delaware, Gloucester, Newcastle, Salem counties until 11:30. This was issued at about 6 o'clock, and the National Weather Service with that particular warning says between 1 and 3 inches of rain have already fallen. The expected rainfall rate remains 1 to 2 inches per hour, and additional rainfall rates of 1 to 3 inches are possible in that area. Across portions of Berks, Bucks, Lehigh, and Montgomery counties in a flash flood warning until 11 o'clock tonight. As of 5:45, this was issued, with thunderstorms producing 2 and 4 inches of rain had already fallen by that point, flash flooding already occurring. And again, this area could end up with over 5 or 6 inches of rain. We haven't gotten a ton of rainfall actual measurements because it's kind of a fool's errand to go out and measure how much rain has already fallen when rain is still coming down incredibly heavily. But we will see these numbers roll in as we measure the rainfall across the region, and I expect we'll see some spots with well over a half a foot of rain. We actually did just get a report. As I said, that made a little bit of a liar out of me. At 7:50 p.m., 1 minute ago, a report in Lehigh County of 6.45 inches of rain, and that was in Lehigh County. Burlington County reported a thunderstorm wind gust of 69 miles per hour as that cell, which very likely had a tornado, went through. So incredibly heavy rainfall and very, very dangerous thunderstorms have been impacting the area all day long. And again, the greatest risk right now as the tornado threat shifts to the north and east is flash flooding. All of our smaller creeks and streams will be experiencing flooding as we go through tonight and into tomorrow. And here's a look at Doppler rainfall estimates just in the past 6 hours. And again, the rain has been falling a lot longer than this. In fact, I'm going to make it 12 hours and we'll see what it looks like once we do that, because it started early this morning in many spots and it has been going. Actually, this is only the past 3 hours. In the past 12 hours, you know what? Let's make it 24. In the past 24 hours, take a look at how much rain has fallen. Where you see that bright purple, that is an indication of nearly 10 inches of rain possible in some parts of Chester County, possibly in Montgomery and Bucks counties as well. You can see Ida's rainfall behaved largely as expected. This looks a lot like the models we were showing you yesterday, with the heaviest swath of rain north and west of the city. Philadelphia right on the borderline in the about 2 to 3 inch range, and not quite as much down the shore. But again, you're looking at 5+ inches in the past day, today, basically, in that entire purple shaded area. And that's on a spot that already had soil moisture contents of about 90%. We couldn't get any more rain. We did, and now we're dealing with the after effects. We're dealing with the runoff as the flooding continues in this region. Let's take a look at future weather, what we can expect through the remainder of tonight. 9 p.m., we've got a line of heavy thunderstorms rolling through the Philadelphia area still. Heavy downpours by 11 o'clock. We're starting to see the back edge of this move through the city. And after midnight, it looks as though much of this is going to be coming to an end, moving out of the region as we get into the overnight hours. So it has sped up just slightly. At one point, it was looking like the heavy rain may linger right into the first part of tomorrow. Now it looks like by 2 a.m., there's 2 a.m., this is largely over with. And by tomorrow morning, 10, 11 o'clock, the sun will be out, lower humidity, and we have very, very nice weather to look forward to. But we still got to get through the rest of tonight first. Tornado watch is still in effect until 10 o'clock tonight, and we still have active severe weather and flash flooding ongoing in our region right now, even though the heaviest downpours have now shifted up toward New York City and northern New Jersey. You can see the red shading there, and back toward portions of Bucks and Mercer counties. That's where the heaviest rain is right now. But still flash flooding. The damage has been done, and now we're just basically adding insult to injury. Now we're seeing the rain falling over the same areas that have already gotten some heavy rain, that have already seen 5+ inches of rain. The back edge of this is still rolling through and producing more rain on top of that. Chester County specifically, I'm looking at you right now, as a line of heavy thunderstorms impacts that area. Already under a flash flood watch, another round of very heavy downpours moving through. You can see over Lancaster County, Berks County, it's starting to break up a little bit. That is good news. We're watching this move through and the heaviest rain shifting out throughout the next couple of hours, leading us to some improvement as we go through later on tonight. So again, a recap, the tornado warnings for our region have been allowed to Delaware. Those storms moving over South Jersey are subsevere, producing some heavy downpours, but that's about it right now. And heavy rainfall over, which will continue through the remainder of tonight and even into the overnight and early morning hours, mainly from the city into the western suburbs. So Yuki and Jessica, this has been a day like we haven't seen before, at least since July 29th, when we had 10 tornadoes. But again, the flash flooding just exacerbates the hazards that our area is feeling from the remnants of Ida moving through tonight. We'll send it over to you.
Absolutely unbelievable. Kate and Lauren and our entire team, thank you.
Yeah, phenomenal job covering this. Well, this video just in from our reporter Carrie Corrado of a development in Mullica Hill, New Jersey. This is from along a winding way. As you can see, numerous trees are down, damage to homes in this area. No word yet on any injuries, but we do know some structures have been compromised. And
a viewer also took this video of what appears to be a tornado in Fort Washington. Bob sent this to us, and he says he took it from his hotel bathroom. As Kate mentioned earlier, at least he got to the bathroom, a safe place, but look outside that window. Wow, high winds roaring big time. That is unbelievable.
Now, live picture now of flooding in Wilmington. This is on I-495 at Edgewater Road. We're being told that Wilmington police will be shutting down this road very shortly. A number of roads in the area have been closed because you just cannot pass.
Let's give you a live look now. This is the Schuylkill Expressway near Conshohocken. The CBS3 mobile weather watcher is stopped in bumper-to-bumper traffic heading eastbound on the highway. You can see the headlights there toward the middle left of your screen. You do not, and I'm sure you know this, you do not want to get on the roads right now if you do, absolutely do not have to. Wow.
And also told that one of the exits right at that Conchi curve onto the Blue Route is closed for now.
Absolutely closed.
So they are diverting, totally closed, so they are diverting people in alternate
So much going on, and right now everything is under the cover of darkness, and our teams are out there to bring you the very latest as the evening goes on here on Eyewitness News.
Yeah, so please stay safe, and we're going to go back to meteorologist Kate Bilo.
Just one last look before we shift off. Again, we will jump right back on if we get a tornado warning to tell you about, but the tornado warnings have expired for our area. We're going to continue with coverage throughout the evening on CBSN Philadelphia. You can move over to there for more updates on this system moving through, and of course back here on CBS 3 at 11. But let's take one last look at what's happening outside right now. Again, the heaviest rain and the greatest risk for severe weather has shifted up into northern New Jersey toward New York City. Now we're dealing with the flash flooding threat. Many roads are closed, many reports of water rescues across our region. Many spots in our area are under active flash flood warnings. We're getting some heavy downpours in Philadelphia proper right now. Also, incredibly heavy rain still falling in lower Bucks County, an area that very likely had a tornado roll through. More heavy rain back into Chester County as well. This will likely be with us through the next couple of hours at least before the heavy rain starts to shift offshore by midnight. Again, here is a look at what we can expect moving forward. 11:30, most of the heavy downpours starting to shift up toward portions of northern New Jersey and New York City. Still some scattered downpours in South Jersey, but most of this off the coast just after midnight, between midnight and 2 a.m. So luckily it is wrapping up quickly, and tomorrow will be a whole lot quieter. But again, over the past day or so, many spots with over 5 inches of rain. I'm very interested to see the totals that'll start rolling in once we start getting updates, because we just had a report in Lehigh County of 6.45 inches of rain. I would be very surprised if we don't have at least one spot that picked up over 10 inches of rain from this system, but we will wait and see as those numbers roll in. Let's take one quick look at some good news. How about some good news? Because we haven't had much good news here in the weather department this summer. Once the system moves out, tomorrow clears out, turns less humid. Friday is beautiful. Saturday is beautiful. Sunday and Monday look pretty nice as well. We can deal with a spotty thunder shower, and this stretch of great weather is going to continue into next week. So ending at least this extended coverage on a little bit of a better note. Yuki, back over to you.
Yeah, we needed to see that, that's for sure. Kate, thank you. And we're going to wrap up our coverage here on CBS3 right now, but we will be back if there are any more tornado warnings.